Alright, so I think this thing's working. What's up, guys? For anyone that's going to be watching this YouTube video or even watching the stream, if you watch CL, then you know me as Culture. Although, that's my name. Don't wear it out. Cole Gibson, Culture, whichever one you prefer. And what I'm going to be doing is basically, as you see me put on all my fancy rings, for posterity, of course. Very ostentatious, I know. But what I'm going to be doing basically is doing VOD reviews of. I'm going to start with the Gold and Plat games from CompeteLeague because it's what I'm familiar with. It's all I've been casting. And then maybe once I have enough time to watch more of the Diamond Plus games, I'll be doing those as well. And this will probably actually move over to Thursdays just because today is, a good day for me. But in the future, I'll be working Wednesday mornings and basically be working all day Wednesday. So Thursdays will probably be my best day to do them because my work schedule works to where I have Mondays and Tuesdays relatively free other than classes. But obviously, Compete League, the games don't really start or you don't get the maximum amount of games covered until basically after Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today. This is gonna be the first game: Yule Good versus Flame Out of Love. Yule Good, I think they're like the second team in the standings right now for Compete League. Gold and Platinum, they're right behind eDaddy. I think our website is kind of broken, so it's hard for us as casters to keep up with the records because when you look online, it usually doesn't reflect how the teams are because teams use subs, and the way the website works is if you use someone who might be an invalid sub or invalid on the roster online, then even if you report the match, it won't show up on the website. So that's how that goes. Flame Out of Love, I believe they're another. I want to say they're a middle of the pack team. They might be near the bottom, but I mean, if you're not Team eDaddy and you're not Yo Good, that's kind of how it is for everybody. Is you're sort of fighting for that middle spot. No one's kind of too far ahead of the other unless you're on eDaddy or Yo Good. So Yo Good trying to keep it going. Yo Good has been characterized all season, pretty much on stream at least, as a team that is pretty much better than most of the people in the league position wise. Individually, they're usually better than their opposite opponent from top all the way down. But they do get sloppy. They do allow games to be prolonged. And this is generally, you can apply this to a lot of the teams in Gold Plat, and it's mainly like disrespect. They don't not disrespected in like they think their opponent's trash or anything, but just they go for some greedy plays. They make some moves that if they were facing a team eDaddy or something, they probably wouldn't make because they're a top team. So not like disrespected in flat out saying you're garbage, so we're gonna like do a crazy pick and ban, but more in they're making moves that aren't as precise as they usually would be because they think that they can gain a distinct advantage on their opponent, and they're just not respecting their opponent's ability to counter them. So therefore, the games last longer than they should be. But usually, Yule Good and Team eDaddy come out on top. So this is the first game. As you see, my wonderful co-workers and returned and what is this chord and returned and voio ohio whatever. So this is on patch 8.6 as well. I mean, everything's pretty much up to date on Compete League. We don't have the ability to delay patches, obviously, so these teams are playing on 8.6, and it is with the no, I'm streaming, and it is with the mid-patch update of Kaisa having her base attack damage taken down and her mana increased on her Cathian Rain. So, um, I played Kaisa a little bit in PBE with the new patch changes before it came out, and it just makes it a little bit harder for her to get out of lane and to just be able to spam a Catherine Rain and keep people pushed in. But if you know how to play Kaisa well, it shouldn't really affect you. Um, and another prerequisite, I'm not expecting any like super specific pick and bans like LCS level where they're taking away priority picks or anything like that. A lot of these teams will ban out because they looked up something the other team has been doing and say, hey, I don't want to play against that, or hey, this champion is good into what I want to play. I'm going to ban that out. So nothing super in depth as far as pick and ban strategy. Outside just banning away comfort picks for your opponent and trying to get the comfort picks you want. It's pretty simple. Um, And that being said, my analysis of the draft might not be perfect because unlike, LCS, we don't have a way to look up like a Games of Legends where you can see what champions they've been playing throughout the entire split. I don't think our website provides that information. If I'm wrong, let me know, and I will definitely begin using that anyways. But to my knowledge, it's not something that we have. So it's gonna have to be like, I'm tongue in cheek. I'm gonna be analyzing this and trying to figure out. Sorry, I had to open up a new window. Figure out what these teams want based on what they're banning away. So if you just give me a second, I'm gonna pull up the stream just in case someone ends up joining my chat for whatever reason, and then therefore actually cares enough to let me know something that's wrong. You always want to be aware of things that are going on, and chat is the greatest catalyst to do that. So, but apparently we have no viewers right now, so that's fine. I did kind of do this impromptu today, so it's not like I let anyone know. Going into the next game, I might actually tweet out and see who wants to watch. But other than that, that's it. So let's see here. Never. Do I have to go straight to my stream link? I thought I could go to the dashboard thing, but I might just have to go to the channel. Not channel. Is it channel? Yeah, it is channel. There we go. And open this up so I can see it. Also, I'm not talking super loud today because got my door open. It's just a nice day, chill stream, chill VOD review. So why not? So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video and get into it. So You'll Good, they banned away the Caitlyn first, so that should already let Flame Out of Love know that they might want to play the Zyra Khan. It's a little bit big. There we go. It's fixed. So they banned the Darius first because Coco. I know him personally. He likes to play these niche, picks. We all know Darius is good in solo queue, and he's kind of like the sole carry for Flame Out of Love. He's been kind of bringing them through this entire process. Actually, let me try and go back because it seems like maybe it would seem like it was an issue on the production end where they I guess just for whatever reason. But anyways, yeah, you see the ban out Darius because that's one of Coco's picks. He's basically lane dominant. He likes to pick these lane wing champions. He'll basically carry the entirety of his team on his back. He's told me before he played the Singed and Trolled and yet still won the game. And then the Caitlyn ban comes out from You'll Good. So that could be a ban toward Hunter. If Hunter, we'd have to check and see his win rates on the Caitlyn. In fact, let me pull up the op.ggs. It's the one indicator we have for these guys. Oh, but of course he has a name where I'd have to copy and paste it just to actually understand how to even spell his name. But I mean, that's basically one of two things. Either you are a Caitlyn one trick, or your main Caitlyn, he's comfortable on the pick, or they're trying to set up the Zyra Khan by taking away that Caitlyn out of the Caitlyn Morgana lane. Um, it's basically the best answer right now on this meta to Zyra Khan because Caitlyn can play safe. You have the Black Shield from Morgana to keep Caitlyn from being knocked up by the Grand Entrance, and even level 6 when he tries to go in for the ultimate, you can just Black Shield and walk away. She can scale up easily in lane. You can't really beat the Zyra Khan unless Timmy the Tank and IWQ just play it wrong. You can't really beat them, but you can at least allow Caitlyn to play comfortable in the lane, scale up, hopefully try and get the push and take first tower and transition that into the typical Caitlyn snowball that we all know and love. And then the Kha'Zix being banned away indicates that Bad Fizz is probably going to want to play a tank jungler, maybe Sejuani or Zac, something that can't really answer the Kha'Zix earlier. He might even want to play the Skarner, but regardless of the pick he wants, it's taking away from BLH, which I believe in previous games BLH has played the Kha'Zix, and at the same time it's giving safety to your jungler knowing that he can play these picks that don't have a lot of early game 1v1 pressure when it comes to jungler v jungler. It just takes away that pick away from the side of Flame Out of Love. Uh, oh, wow, I said BLH. I meant Bad Fizz play Kha'Zix. So everything I said, sometimes I get mixed up in picking man. Everything I said just kind of reverse that over. Sometimes I get mixed up with the way things look, and I mix up red and blue side and teams' names. It happens sometimes. But looking at Flame Out of Love's bans, just targeting 80 carry bans on Timmy the Tank. Timmy the Tank has shown that he can be one of the team's biggest carries. Him and Winnie Hunt Jr. Winnie Hunt Jr. though being a little bit less consistent than Timmy the Tank is. So just taking away the Draven, the Kaisa, Hunter might not want to play into those, as well as it's Kaisa. So in Gold and Plat especially, it seems, and well, mainly in all CompeteLeague, it seems anyone that can grab Kaisa has grabbed her and played her to a lot of effectiveness. So you just want to get that out of the pool and keep that out of Timmy the Tank's hands, and the Draven as well. Getting rid of that hyper aggressive AD carry that can snowball extremely hard for the side of Yulgood, and might be another pick that Flame Out Love says, hey, we just don't want to play into that at all. So let me actually finish entering these op.jitters so I can have a list and at least maybe get some insight onto what these guys play. The thing that frustrates me most about CompeteLeague, though, is that a lot of these guys don't even really use this account that they play in CompeteLeague with. They use other Smurf accounts, and I mean it's obvious because they don't want to give away strats by having people just look them up easily. So that's kind of like, we don't want them to take away a strat from us by being able to just look up our op.ggs. Unlike other collegiate, you can't use a Smurf account for collegiate. LOL. You have to use your main account that you play on all the time. So there's no smurfing on one account and then coming back to another account and using that for the tournament. You have to play on that account. Now there's still players that do it and use Smurfs, but if you get caught, you can get penalized for it pretty heavily. So they try and have players, and also it just helps people. It's fair playing field, and in LCS there are ways for people to get other pros Smurf account names. Namely, you can watch streams or just pay close attention. I don't know how the pro scene works, but there are a lot of avenues for getting access to those op.ggs for Smurfs and collegiate and up than there is in CompeteLeague, where we monitor Smurfs being used in the game, but as far as them playing on Smurfs in casuals and ranked, we don't keep track of that like that. So not to say that collegiate does either, like super heavily. It's just less prevalent for players in collegiate to, I guess, heavily use Smurfs to the point where you can't really tell what they play. I remember my time coaching. There are some players where it was like, yeah, okay, obviously this is a Smurf that he's using. Can't find the right account, but for the most part, the account they used in collegiate LOL was the account that they used online, mainly because you had to have that account ranked up. I'm doing a lot of explaining about collegiate LOL for no reason, but I feel like I have to justify everything I just said because it sounded kind of stupid. But mainly, you do it so that you, uh, I'm pretty sure, whatever. This is a spiel that I don't need to go on right now. I'm looking up op.ggs. But yeah, as you can see, or you can't see it, but I can see it. Darius, 17 games for Coco. As far as top laners go, you could probably go to his champion thing individually and see it there as well. He has a lot of games on that top lane. Looking at some of these other bans from Yo Good, let's find. Oh yeah, I can't find Hunter right now, but looking at Bad Fizz, he plays a lot of mid lane, but Building Kick does have Kha'Zix on the top of his champion pool. I know Building Kick isn't your jungler, but maybe they took that as indication that he picks it for his jungler a lot, so therefore it shows up. Who knows? They might do rank flex. It's all up in the air with CompeteLeague. It's all up in the air. Let me actually finish getting the rest of these op.ggs as well. I beg of you patience. All right. Yeah, see, so BLH on his account, the Yule Good jungler, he has support as his preferred position. He has a whole bunch of mid and top laners. No real junglers. Cold box, top laner. It's a just a big cluster flub of how you choose this. But I spent a lot of time focusing on that and not actually focusing on analyzing this game, this pick and ban. So let's keep doing that. Pause one more time. Because I have, you guessed it, strawberry milk that I want to drink. So I have something to drink while I'm sitting here talking incessantly and doing this. What time is it? 1:23. Jesus. Might not even make the rest of the games with how much I've been talking. Some good milk. Alright. So, final ban for Flame Out of Love will be the Swain. Now, this is a great ban because Swain has really risen as a top, first pick priority champion. A lot of sustaining lane. You can flex him top or mid. At your best, you completely crush the lane because of the cooldown decrease and damage increase that Riot gave him on his Q, as well as Never Move. Just makes him so hard to lane against. It doesn't even matter anymore. It used to be before they gave him a little bit of a hot fix. It was Swain. You play a lot into tanks. He still hadn't been seen competitive because he still needed a little bit of help. But even before that, when he first came out, reworked, it was you play him in the tanks because he can just spam the Q. He can play safe in lane. So you saw him a lot more top lane than mid. But now he can be flexed. He does a lot of damage at your best. Excuse me. You bully the lane, and at your worst, you survive lane. You can still have a lot of impact in team fights. He has so much space control with his ultimate. Literally, if he pops ultimate in the middle of a team fight and you're trying to engage on his team, you cannot walk through his ultimate. It's impossible. He does so much damage once he gets that health cap, and the fact he can still use other spells while in the middle of ulti, he just has so much zone control in team fights. You can't even walk close to his team. So he's a very good champion for just resetting team fights, winning lane. He's just overall all around good. So I like that ban from Flame Out Love. You see the All-Star coming first from Coldbox, and that's part of Yulgid's MO. They like to have pretty aggressive lanes. So the All-Star, not really a surprise. I wouldn't be surprised if I see a Jhin come out if it's left open. Jhin has been really good, and he works really well with Alistar. Alistar being able to use a lot of CC, obviously, with Headbutt Pulverize and his E. Follow up with Jhin, you can keep someone CC'd for days. He should have, if not a winning a bot lane priority with that bot lane, then you can at least go even in the lane, and then Jhin can build Jinsu's or some other build and dominate mid to late game now, thanks to the recent buffs he got, plus Ginsu's being changed. And if you want to, you can go Conqueror, get that true damage to bust through tanks even better in the late game, something Jhin used to struggle with a lot. You could also still see the Xayah come through. She's still a very good lane champion without Rakan. She doesn't need Rakan to help her as much as Rakan needs her. So they have a lot of options at AD carry. It's up to Flame Out Love to take away what they want. In this situation, if I were them, I would try and first pick the Xayah to eliminate that equation, eliminate the All-Star Xayah lane, and give your bot lane the best chance to get through this lane phase unscathed. They could also go with an Ezreal. Ezreal is your quintessential defensive AD carry. He can stay relatively safe with the Arcane Shift, get through lane phase, get to your tier, into your Triforce, or your Manamune into Triforce, and, scale up through that. So it's really up to them. There's a lot of AD carry choices, basically. But knowing them, they'll probably try and uh, they'll probably lock in their bot lane first because they want to give Coco the counter pick in this situation since he is pretty much their main carry. You want to give Coco and Latucan the counter pick, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pick their bottom lane and their jungler here. Skarner and Olaf are up, so they could definitely take one of those. Galio's up for Latucan. They could go ahead and get that 2v2 mid jungle locked in here and get a pretty powerful one. So I mean, they have a lot of options as well. Red side, counter pick, but that's what I think I'd like to see is they save the counter pick for Coco, um, Or actually, no. You know what? I think they'll just go ahead. They might go ahead and pick Coco's top laner first rotation because they know that Coco might get banned out in the second phase. So go ahead and pick him what he wants his rotation. He might pick the Singed again. He played it before, or you just go ahead and pick up the some sort of synergy with Galio. If you want to pick Galio for a toucan, you can go Camille Galio, things of that nature. Like I said, I had to go based on conjecture because I just don't know what these guys' true champion pool is at the moment. So I'm just going off of what I know is good right now in the meta and what's left available. So I mean, we'll have to see what they decide to pick. Actually, how do you do the little speed up thing? I want to speed it up. Is there a hotkey I can do? Oh well. Slow it down a bit. Slow it down just a tad, just a hair, just a tip. So I think 1.5. Let's try that. Still think 1.5 is a little bit too fast. We'll go 1.25. I want to go at a pace where if I see something, I can slow it down, and you guys can see it with me. But at the same time, I want to kind of pick the pace up because it is already like 130 where I am at. So it's a little bit of both. So I think this is fine right here. So they do go the Ezra right here for the safety in lane. I wouldn't be surprised if they went ahead and locked in their support, or they could lock in their jungler as well. They have a lot of options here. Um, they will lock in the Sejuani, one of the junglers. I had a feeling it would be Sejuani because Kha'Zix is good in Sejuani because Sejuani doesn't have a lot of early pressure in a 1v1. So Kha'Zix can look to just bully her out really, really early in the game because while she is kind of tanky because of her passive, at the same time, Kha'Zix can invade her jungle with good pathing and good jungle pathing. If you can invade her early and find her when she's half health or lower than half health, and that's an easy first blood for BLH and he or not for BL. I keep forgetting that they banned away Kha'Zix. I keep forgetting Yule Good banned away Kha'Zix. So actually, I take that back. This is a great pickup for Bad Fizz because you could tell that they wanted to possibly pick up a Sejuani or a Zac based on the Kha'Zix ban there. So they're just taking away the Sejuani, going to force BLH to probably pick either a Zac, maybe a Skarner, something that's not going to be comfortable for him because he did ban away the Kha'Zix looking to play a more passive jungle. So now that he's either going to be forced to play an aggressive jungler or pick the Zac, which is a good trade off for Flame Out of Love. They're both, you're not giving up anything by taking Sejuani over Zac or giving up the Zac over Sejuani. So now it's going to be up to Yulgid to kind of respond. They will pick up that Skarner, I think. Yeah, they will. So, I mean, this should be a pretty easy early game for Bad Fizz. You won't see. Skarner can be aggressive early, but at this level of play in Gold Plat, I don't expect Yulgud to have the coordination for Weenie Hunt Jr. to, like, push in Latucan, which should open up the map for Skarner to roam up into Sejuani's jungle and look for maybe a 1v1. While basically the same thing, Kha'Zix look for that 1v1 while she's half health or below. But in this level of play, I don't expect that to happen. So for Sejuani right now, she should have a pretty easy uh, jungle early game because the only other thing you can do with Skarner if you're not going to aggressively look for a 1v1 and try and bully her out of her jungle is just trying to scale up to level 6 where you can try and get that Impale to go for a level 6 gank. And she's going to be looking for the same thing basically to get to level 6. She can gank earlier depending on how aggressive or out of position one of the laners for Yulgud is. She can try and look for that early gank once she gets to level 3 or 4. But if she can't find that, she's perfectly fine with just scaling up to level 6 and using that Glacial Prison to initiate something bot lane, maybe in the mid lane and open up that, middle of the map. So right now it's looking good for Bad Fizz, at least in the pick and ban phase. Just off of pure looking at pick and ban, it's looking pretty okay for Flame Out of Love. They're not giving up anything too strong that they can't counter with what they pick so far, and they're not being forced to take picks that are at a disadvantage to what Yulgud has. So we'll see. Yoga will probably round this out by picking an AD carry, because that's the one thing you don't really want on 8.6 is you don't really see teams giving up bot lane priority by waiting till the next phase of draft to pick up their AD carrier support. Maybe in previous patches where mid lane had a lot more early game priority and top lane did, but in this on 8.6, getting your bot lane a good lane is super important, and I think they're gonna go ahead and lock the Jhin in here. So yeah, that'll confirm. They want some that if they can't win lane, at least they can go even. Jhin does scale pretty well now with the changes, as well as Jhin Su's and if he goes Conqueror. And you can still go Comet right here and try and bully out lane with Alistar and just try and heavily win this lane. I wouldn't be surprised if IWQ went Ignite, trying to look for, maybe a level 2 all-in, something like that. And you see the Shin here coming through for Coco, actually, which is interesting because you usually see a lot more aggressive picks from Coco. But as you can tell, they're trying to protect their bot lane because they know that the first thing, if BLH can't find a gank somewhere early, which he shouldn't be able to on the Skarner, they'll probably look for a level 6 all in on the bot lane if they're smart. If You'll Good, plays their win conditions and plays to their tempo, they're going to look for, at least to make the first move, at least in the bot lane. Shin can help counteract that with the Stand United. And if at any point Flame Out of Love gets the tempo advantage, they can actually look to initiate their own play in the bot lane with the Stand United and get that tempo advantage in the bot lane as well. So it's not the usual pick you see from Coco, but it's still a good pick right now. I don't see either team losing an advantage here in this early pick and ban phase, because neither team is putting priority in the lanes that they have chosen not to pick, so they're not trading out anything super heavily. Also, the one thing I guess I would have to say Flame Out of Love had to bite the bullet on here was Coco had to pick something that early, otherwise they ban him out. And at the same time, you don't want to blind pick a carry top laner because then that just gives counter pick over to Colbox and can just counter pick the complete crap out of you. So he was kind of forced in taking this defensive top laner. So it's kind of 6 and one and a half a dozen the other. But of all the defensive top laners you can take, given how they're going to have to play this early game defensively and passively, Shin is the best one I think you could take in this situation. Um, Hold on, guys. I have a phone call. Telemarketers. They'll get you every single time. Never ceases to amaze. Never ceases to amaze. So, hold on. So now, pretty simple. Flame Out of Love entering second pick and ban phase should be looking to try and ban out anything that can get a distinct advantage over Coco in the top lane. I think that's the one area that they know that You'll Good will want to attack with their next round of picks is now that Colebox knows what Coco is going. He's gonna possibly try and look for a counter pick obviously in top lane in the form of maybe a Camille or Fear or something that's a good tank buster in the top lane, maybe even a Kled who wants to be hyper aggro. But we do have to remember this Shin could be a support Shin, so at the same time you have to be careful because it could go support, but I don't think it will. Support Shin had its moment in the sun, I think, on like 8.4 and a little bit early for 8.5, but eventually just fell off again because of changes to support items. So, I think they're just going to try and save their counter pick for the next round. And so, Flame Out of Love should look to try and ban any top lane carries that can play well into Shin. For You'll Good, I think they try and focus banning out Latucan now. Just ban away something like the Galio or something that can either have a lot of mid lane priority and therefore roam pressure. That would not only give Bad Fizz more safety in jungle because if they give Latucan a mid laner that can push heavily, then even if Latucan doesn't roam around the map, it just gives Bad Fizz a lot of safety in the jungle because that way Skarner can't can't help Winnie Hunt Jr. get mid lane priority and then roam into bad Fizz jungle and give him a hard time. So they'll probably pick something that can push. They might also pick something that can roam around the map and make plays in the top or bottom half of the map and almost be like a band-aid for if Shin or Ezreal and whatever support they pick start having a bad time. Um, you know, that's what Latucan's job should be. Nothing too aggressive, just being the band-aid, trying to help his team get through this lane phase. They could also, Yulgood could also look to ban away supports to weaken Ezreal's laning phase. Ezreal, he's not a support. I mean, he's not an AD carry that's really dependent on a support per se, but taking away something like a Tomkinch or a Braum would definitely hurt his chances of getting through the laning phase unscathed, because once you use Arcane Shift, that opens him up to being engaged on later. And Braum and Tomkinch are the two best supports right now at helping their laner survive through lane phase if it's a defensive lane. So that's something else they could look to do throughout the rest of this pick and ban phase. We'll go ahead and see Sion banned away. Champion that has an easy push power over Shin. And I mean, super easy. Sion is known. And this is something that Zyrene pointed out on his VOD review last night. That I think a lot of people knew, but they just didn't have a way to articulate it, is that Sion, it's not that he does a whole bunch of damage in top lane or anything like that. In fact, when you play Sion, you want to be in non-interactive lane. You just want to have the push so that you can go do other things around the map elsewhere. You want to be able to continually push in the Shin or wherever you're facing in lane so that you can roam around and affect other lanes, go ward jungle, have TP priority, etc., etc. You're not looking to fight the Shin on Sion, and that's why it's such a good pick in the Shin and almost any other top laner as well. Is because he's not looking to fight. Now you will pick a Camille into it or a Fiora into it at times, because that means you want to fight and take advantage of this laner who wants to be non-interactive. But most of the time, especially when you already see the Shin come out and when he's playing against other tank top laners, he's not going to want to do anything but just push you in and roam around the map. Maybe poke you out so that you can't even think about TPing to lane. If you two have to take a TP at the same time, you're going to hesitate because you're going to be at half health because he's just going to keep poking you with Roar the Slayer. So I think this is a good ban from Flame Out of Love, taking away that push priority in top lane, because they already know they're going to not have push. They're not going to have bot lane priority. Depending on how this pick and ban phase goes, you might not have mid lane priority. I'm sorry, my neck hurts. I don't know what's wrong. But yeah, you might not have mid lane priority. So you don't want to give up. You don't want to have 3 losing lanes or even 2 losing lanes where you don't have priority and therefore can't have your movement around the map is restricted for your jungler early and just for your team in macro play because you gave up 2 or 3 pushing lanes to the enemy team. So they banned the Orianna, banned the Anivia. Mm. Mm. So I like the Orianna ban from Yulgood. I think it's a good ban. It takes away even more safety. It's just taking away more safety picks, and Orianna as well is very good for team fighting. Put a ball on top of Shin or Sejuani, and they initiate. It's almost guaranteed a kill or at least a winning team fight. What I don't really like from Flame Out of Love is the Anivia ban. It's a target ban at Winnie Hut Jr. It would provide Yul Good with a lot of, I guess, stalling power if they got behind. So, and it's a comfort pick for Winnie Hut Jr. trying to give Latucan a little bit of, mid lane help. Just almost responding mid lane ban for mid lane ban. But I just don't think, like, the team composition that Yoga is building is extremely snowbally. You have the Skarner, who's going to want to help get a tempo advantage in the jungle, and then therefore try and get to level 6 first and get off the first gank, and then also probably try and get that Rift Herald first. You have the Jhin Alistar, who's going to look to try and win lane, keep bot lane priority, and transition that momentum around the map. You're probably gonna pick a mid laner that has the same thought process for when you had Junior, where you want to try and win lane and snowball and build a tempo advantage. So I think they should have kept focusing bans to the top lane to try and take away Colbox's ability to also have a winning matchup in the top lane. Like, I know they trust Coco's ability on the Shin to, not outright lose lane, but in a game like this, you just don't want to give Colbox anything that, even though he won't outright win lane, he'll still have top lane priority. And I don't think focusing Weenie Hut Jr. in the mid lane, especially with just one ban in the second phase, is optimal. You ban the Swain, that's a necessity. But if you're gonna go ahead and try and ban out Winnie Hut Jr. in the second phase, just spin both your bans to the top lane. Give up the top lane priority to Scion, and just try and give Toucan a favorable matchup, and try and control that mid lane, because mid lane inevitably helps you control River, and that's gonna be more worth for your team than banning out a champion for each lane, and then kind of uh, taking away dulling the effectiveness of your pick and ban phase for the phase two. I couldn't find a better word for that. I'm taking these vocab courses to try and get better at vocabulary. They're obviously not working, but basically, like, I feel like that just dulls the effect of your draft when you, um, jeez, I don't know why that hurts. When you waste one ban on one lane and then on the other. The Scion was a good ban until you decided to not continue banning top laners and ban away Anivia. Even if Winnie Hut Jr. is really good on Anivia, I just don't think it's worth a ban, because yeah, you take away his Anivia, but then there are still so many other mid laners he can pick that will still be really, really good for Yulgood's comp. And I don't even think Anivia really fits into their comp right now anyways. Yeah, she can use her wall aggressively for team fights, maybe to try and block off members of Flame Out of Love. But Flame Out of Love has so much mobility already. They have Sejuani, Shin, and Ezreal, who can all find a way to dash or blink over the wall anyway, so the wall wouldn't be as effective. And the only other thing at that point she's good for is maybe trying to land a stun, which again, too much mobility to try and land that stun. So at that point, her only effectiveness is her Glacial Storm, which will help stall out a game. But even then, I mean, that can only last for so long, and Yulgood's not trying to stall out games anyways. They want to try and push the tempo quickly of this match. So I just don't like that ban from Flame Out of Love. I think they could have either kept banning away top laners to give Coco a more comfortable lane, or if you're going to do it, switch the Scion ban for something else and just completely try and knock Winya Jr. down his tier list of champions. Knock him down the champion pool. So you'll good. They'll probably round it out with another mid lane ban. Just another safety ban as well. So we'll see what they choose. They choose the Malzahar, which is another ban I like, because they recognize that for Flame Out of Love, their best chance of getting through this early game unscathed, now they have a lot of safety for this Ezreal, is trying to get some sort of mid lane push so that BLH can't roam into Bad Fizz jungle, like I said before, almost unimpeded, because Winnie Hut Jr. gets mid lane priority. So they ban away the Malzahar, knowing that's probably something Toucan plays. And even though it's not in the meta right now overall in competitive, for the purposes that Flame Out of Love wants, and we all know CompeteLeague has its own meta anyways, but for the purposes that Flame Out of Love wants, they just want something that can win the push war in the mid lane and give Bad Fizz some safety. And taking away that Malzahar takes away another pick Toucan could have to do that he might be comfortable on. I don't know what's wrong with my neck, but while I'm talking, it's just like hurts so bad. Like a vocal cord thing? Wasn't hurting last night. I don't know. Ooh, that sounded wrong. Ignore that. But now that we're out of pick and ban phase, just look for Flame Out of Love to probably pick their support here. I don't think they're gonna pick their mid laner. I think they're gonna try and give Toucan after they essentially let Yulgood screw him by banning away two of his mid laners, and not really giving him much help in the form more than 2 mid lane bans, and even then, at least 2 mid lane bans that are knocking Weenie Hut Jr. down his champion pool. They're gonna probably try and save him counter pick. They're gonna go ahead and lock in their support here. So since Yulga didn't ban it away, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a Braum or a Tom Kinch, something that can help Hunter get through this lane, untouched and just help him scale passively. And then for Yulgood, we'll probably just see them go ahead and round out top and mid. They'll probably pick something like a Camille or maybe even a Fiora, something that can easily um, just bully Coco in the top lane, which would really diminish his ability to try and TP and also use Stand United, because if he's trying to Stand United in or TP in when he's like low health from just being harassed and bullied all the time, then he's going to instantly die coming out of fights. Or even better for the side of You're Good, if they can find a way to kill the global in top lane and just take that out of the equation when they pick this aggressive top laner, that'll just really help their win conditions coming into this game. And then they'll just round it out with just some mid laner that Winnie Hut Jr. is comfortable with. When you don't have the counter pick, you just pick something that you're comfortable with and know that you can at least survive lane through. So I expect something like that to come through here. Sorry, just got news that Soaz got hurt. It's Weepo time, baby. All right, so we'll go ahead and see how they round this out. Oh, okay. All right, Flame Out Love. So will be the Ornn. I mean, both these picks can be flexed. Although I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Ooh, is that gonna be Ornn support? Hmm. It could be Shin support. I just don't. Either way, I don't really like this for them. In any other situation where they actually focused giving bot lane priority and tried to ban out some bot laner, ban out more than just Kaisa, who has to be banned almost right now in CompeteLeague, and then banning out the Draven, which I'm guessing is a pocket pick for Timmy the tank that he likes to play. Maybe if they went triple bans, I don't like. I guess you can still get through lane pretty safely with Ornn. You just still lose a lot of bot. You lose more bot lane priority than you would have if you had just taken the Braum or the Tom Kinch. So now it's going to be extremely hard for Ezreal to try and farm. If it's an Ornn support, all Ornn's really good for doing is going in. He might be able to hit a Q and then land a stun with the charge to peel for the Ezreal and allow him to escape. But other than that, he doesn't have any like innate peel for his AD carry. You usually pick Ornn into a neutral or aggro lane because he has the ability with the Brill to go in and land prolonged CC for engages. Shin, same thing. All he'll really be good for is a taunt and maybe using the I can't remember what that ability is called, but the one that basically blocks auto attacks. Um, he'll be good for that and then taunt, but other than that, it's kind of, you know, what else can he provide to peel for the Ezreal? Especially if he doesn't land a taunt onto the right target. Um, you know, and even then, he's still the one taking the damage. It's not a support like Braum or Tom Kinch who can willingly eat damage because Tom Kinch has the thick skin and Braum has the unbreakable. So it's an interesting pick. I mean, it helps their team fight dynamic a lot if they can make it to mid to late game, get out of laning phase without giving up too much of a lead. Then Ornn and Shin together are really good team fighters. The Shin can just hop on to any of the other tanks on his team as they go in, and Ornn just pops the call of the Forge God, slows everyone up, knocks them up as well. So the team fight looks good, but my concern for Flame Out of Love is can they get out of lane phase without giving up a 4,000 gold lead? Because if they can get out of lane phase with even like being at a 1,000 or 2,000 gold deficit, they can be fine. But it's gonna be really hard for them to do that. And I think this last pick for Toucan is gonna really, really be important because it's gonna have to round out this defensive early game composition he's gonna have to pick some he's gonna be forced onto something basically that has to be defensive in the mid lane, because you can't play an aggressive pick in mid lane and possibly give up advantages because you get caught out in maybe like an all-star roam gank or a Skarner gank, something that can't really escape ganks, and therefore not only loses mid priority but also gives up free gold and therefore gives up a gold lead early and a tempo advantage. So I think they kind of handicapped themselves here with this draft. But I mean, Flame Out of Love has always been known for doing some weird stuff, so we'll see how they can do in this situation. Mm. All right, so Yo Good picked the Cho'Gath, anticipating it being an Ornn top laner, but either way, Cho'Gath, he doesn't do as well into Shin as he does into Ornn, but he can still be pretty well off. So they anticipate it probably being an Ornn top lane, pick the Cho'Gath, because Cho'Gath can innately sustain into Ornn, and Ornn, ever since they nerfed him, doesn't do as much damage as he used to, so Cho'Gath can sustain through any damage, scale up, and be useful for objective control. And if he's into Shin, kind of the same principle, although Shin does have a better matchup because he can block the Vorpal spikes with his E and go for those aggressive trades. And you see the Vladimir coming out from Weenie Hut Jr. is another pick that is snowbally, give him tempo advantage in mid lane. Now he won't have push priority, I don't believe, because Vladimir early before he can get his Hextech Revolver is fairly weak and he can't outpush a Veigar. Veigar has a lot of innate wave clear spam with just his Q and W, and actually Veigar does have the mid lane priority in this lane. It's gonna be up to Weenie Hut Jr. not to see this lane over to Latucan, in my opinion, because Veigar can be the X factor. If there's anything that can stall out a game, it's a Veigar that can blow up any carry that gets too close if they get caught up in the event horizon and just get completely destroyed by the ultimate. It stalls out any game, so Veigar definitely the X factor that Flame Outlet was looking for. It's safe. He can avoid ganks with the event horizon as long as he plays the positioning well and plays the lane well. He can scale up into the mid late game and provide them with that extra damage source that Ezreal will probably have to work up to get there. And into the Vladimir, he should have a pretty safe laning phase as long as he doesn't do anything too aggressively stupid. Because Skarner can't gank early enough onto the Veigar to help Vladimir get past that point where Vladimir becomes scary, and Vladimir shouldn't be able to even get close enough to Veigar to apply lane pressure. So this is the pick that Flame Outlet was looking for, being able to at least keep mid lane priority even and not to see 3 losing lanes over to the side of Yo Good. Let's see where this Ornn's going. So it will be Ornn top and Shin support. So yeah, basically, top lane can go even with Cho'Gath, so Coolbox and Coco it'll be a wet noodle fight basically. Um, Shin, Ezreal will lose to Jhin Alistar as far as bot lane priority right now. But I think Flame Out of Love found a way to get out of this draft a lot better than they should have, just being able to play that weird pick and ban draft that they have throughout the season. You think, oh, they're in a pinch because they picked the Ezreal Shin Sejuani, and it's looking really weird for their comp right now. But then they pull out an Ornn and a Veigar, and it works, and that's CompeteLeague meta. So, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. Now, talking win conditions for Yo Good, I think I've already kind of highlighted them, but just a basic TLDR, their win conditions. Cho'Gath, wet noodle fight in the top lane. Maybe you kill the Ornn early if you can with Skarner, but otherwise, wet noodle fight, that's a non-interactive lane for the most part. They'll trade a little bit, but won't be a lot of action in the top lane. Vladimir, he just wants to scale up. He'll probably lose mid lane priority to Latucan, so therefore Skarner, he'll just have to farm to level 6. If he goes for aggressive early invade, he'll get collapsed on and probably die. So they're just wanting to sort of the top side of the map wants to just scale up in past the lane phase. The bottom half of the map is what's really going to be their win condition. If they can get, if just Jin and Alistar can get an early lead in this bot lane and be able to just take over team fights coming out of lane phase, then they'll give enough time for Vladimir to scale up, get the Proto Belt, get any other the Leandries, I believe, what he builds also with the Rylai's. Cho'Gath will be able to control objectives, and so for Good, their early game is going to be basically taking team fights around objectives. They can't really afford to try and invade into Flame Out of Love's jungle until they have a lead and try and look for picks and look to be aggressive. They're going to have to fight around objectives using this Cho'Gath to control the Drake and Baron pit, and then just playing around their bot lane, maybe enacting a bot lane dive, a bot lane party. Not trying to kill the edge roll Shin because it's going to be extremely difficult to do so, but just trying to get that first turret, open up the map, allow Jin and Alistar to lane swap or roam mid, or just, go anywhere they're needed to apply pressure near an objective and just play around those neutral objectives the entire time. Look for fights around that. For Flame Out of Love, though, they're going to want to kind of play this early game passive as well, but to the point where they just want to get to that mid game unscathed. They can afford to secede 1,000 to 2,000 goal lead for maybe losing a turret, losing a drag, or what have you. But as long as Ezreal can get to his Manamura and Trinity Force spike without, seceding any heavy losses, as long as Veigar can be allowed to scale up without losing anything in the mid lane. And more importantly, as long as Bad Fizz can survive early without dying or losing a tempo advantage to BLH, they should be fine in team fights. Ornn plus Sejuani and Shin is a kind of a devastating combo, especially when you have some click R ultimate like Veigar that's almost like Syndra, but when he has enough AP, stacks even more deadly at times. So I do think their team fight can be pretty potent when it comes later points in the mid and late game. But their thing is they just have to get there. And they're just got to seed any objectives they have to get to that point. Until they can finally take those fights. So pretty straightforward, nothing like complex. Like I said, it's CompeteLeague, so it's not going to be like Zyrene where he was going into, oh, well, if you ban this and go this, that means they have to take a mid laner here. Otherwise, because CompeteLeague, we don't subscribe to that line of thinking for whatever reason. So there was no trying to force them to take anything, force them to ban anything away or anything like that. It was just, okay, we don't want to play against this. We want to give him some priority comfort in a lane, yada, yada, yada. So, and I was just doing a VOD review earlier today, and I characterize draft theory as three things. Either A, you're trying to play a game of chess and force the enemy team to either take or ban something that if they leave up would be more favorable to you. If they take it, it puts them at a disadvantage. And if they ban it, it leaves open a pick for you. And if they don't do either, then you get to take that pick and it's fine. Or two, you're going to ban away, you're going to target a certain player on the enemy team because you know that's where their strategy lies, and therefore that's the lane they're going to play around. So you ban them out, i.e., CG versus TSM, where they banned out most of Bjergsen's champion pool to put him all the way down the tier list onto like Karma. Or C, you are trying to get yourself in a position, whether it's a mix of A and B, to where you can pick comfort picks for most, if not all, of your lane that fits into a practice strategy that you've been practicing consistently in the scrims. So depending on how flexible your team is and how good your team is, you can A is for like the really really good teams that are flexible, can play multiple styles and therefore don't really have a restriction on what they can do in game, and so therefore they just trying to force the enemy team to uh put themselves in a unfavorable position. B is kind of for like the okay teams. They're good. They're good enough to have a flexible champion pool, so they can just try and ban out the other team and then play whatever they want. And then C is for the very base teams where it's like, okay, I just want to ban this out because I don't like playing against this, and I want to ban this out because this other guy is really good at this, and it's another champion I don't like playing against. And I think for the most part, you saw a little bit of B and C from both teams. Where from Yule Good, the first 3 bans was just things where it was like C, we don't like playing against that, and or um, it was like, okay, they play this and we still don't like playing against that. Um, so I think Yule Good actually showed more of B than it is of C, but like with the Darius pick, for instance, I think you had to ban that from Coco. I believe he's gone off before on the Darius, so you had to ban that away. And then the Caitlyn and the Kha'Zix were things that I assume that Bad Fizz plays and that Hunter plays comfortably, so he banned those away. So a little bit of B and C, but from Flame Out of Love, it was a lot of C where they play this and we hate playing against this, so we're gonna ban it. You saw that with the Kaisa, you saw that with the Draven. They were kind of forced into a pickle because being on Reg side, you had to ban the Kaisa and the Swain. But with the Draven, the Scion, especially the Anivia, you saw a lot of C where, I hate playing against this champion. He plays really well. Let's get rid of it. You didn't see a lot of B where it's like, we have a flexible champion pool. So we're going to ban out this guy because we know these are the champions he plays. And even though I might play some of these, my champion pool is big enough to where I can play multiple champions. So it's okay. So, but enough of me talking about that. It's about to get really weird though because for whatever reason, gotta get past the delay. Just skip forward a little bit. But yeah, for whatever reason, um, we had to stop the stream or whatever. So I'm gonna have to finish the rest of this video and watch the early game and then switch to another one. Really odd, I know, but either way, this is the team comps and how they're working, and I like the minion team. Ugh. I like the minion dematerializer on the Shin because at least it gives them something to try and push back against the Jhin Alistar. It doesn't give them such heavy lane priority as they go into a pause. That it doesn't give you such heavy lane prio that they just completely bully you on the turret and then hopefully set up a dive later with the Skarner and the Vladimir, maybe even the Cho'Gath. It helps you try and control the wave and control the push in a bomb lane. And also with Doran's shield, it procs Doran's shield pretty easily, so he doesn't have to work as hard to kill cannon minions and therefore put himself in a bad position to be engaged on. You just walk up, hit the dematerializer, it procs, you walk away, and not only do you negate any push they have with a cannon minion, but you also get the proc as well. I like that. Dark Shield from Vladimir, recognizing that I need to have some sustain because the Vigor's going to try and poke me all the time in lane with his Q, whenever he can, if he's going to play aggressive. So just taking that as a precaution. I like that as well. So everything else pretty standard starts from all the top lanes. A Doran's Shield on Cho'Gath, I think, is a little bit weird. I don't know. I can't recall how many pro top laners are taking Doran's Shield on Cho'Gath over Corrupting Corrupting Potion. So we gotta. I had to. Let me go ahead and check champion.gg because I can check that and pro builds and it will kind of give me a summary. So let me see. Cho'Gath, Chobro. So on Champion GG, it says that people are starting. The most frequent starts are Doran's Shield. Some people starting Doran's Ring, but that's like meh. And then let's check pro builds as well. Actually, Levi just played it earlier, but let's check in a region that's quote unquote major. Plus, I think that might have been mid lane. It was versus Zed regardless. So yeah, Doran's Shield. Yeah, so it seems like everyone is taking Doran's Shield on Cho'Gath now just for more lane sustain. So that makes sense. Usually you see top laners taking Corrupting Flash for the trading, but if you're not looking to trade, then it makes sense that you're just going to take Doran Shield and try and get through lane phase regardless. So I think this pause is what takes us into... Nope, it's not. It is not. So we do get in the game finally. I don't think anyone gets any deep wards in. You don't really need to. I don't think anyone's going to be looking to invade into anyone's jungle early until someone gets mid lane priority, so it's fine. I do think Vigor having the back is unfortunate though, although it looks like Yulgid aren't going to capitalize on it by trying to push in and get lane wards or anything, because he forgot to buy his other starting items, which I thought was weird. I thought maybe he was just still sitting in the fountain, but apparently that's not the case. Apparently he just forgot to buy items, so you know that's whatever. But no one capitalized on it. They didn't try and go and get some deep wards off of it, you know, from doing that. So it's whatever. I am really impressed though by Flame Out Love, because I think they... Well, no, they ping. Let me reverse that a little bit. I want to see if the pings were simultaneous or if they just were pinging his paths regardless. Yep, no, they Bad Fizz intuitively, it might have been Bad Fizz or Coco. I'm gonna give credit to Bad Fizz though, since he's jungle. Bad Fizz intuitively, um, just from extrapolation, knew where Skarner started and therefore pinged out his path, so the rest of his team knew. So now he'll at least know where to avoid if Skarner decides to go aggressive, and he might actually try and look for maybe an invade, take away the Raptors, um, get his own tempo advantage, just steal the rest of Skarner's red side, and then look for some deep vision, as we already see Coco being pushed in by Colebox right here. I want to go back and look at this trade real quick, because I think, yeah, he took a bad trade. If you count the minions he has in compared to Colebox, Colebox hits level 2 first, which I think is what he was trying to prevent by starting this engage in the top lane. Let's see, yeah, he hit level 2, and I think at level 2, I think Coco started trying to aggress on him, but I don't think it worked. So Colebox always takes advantage of the level 2 spike, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minions to Coco's 3, so that's definitely not going to go well on a trade right now. Minion aggro plus, you know, being able to land a full rotation gives Colebox the push, so that's how that goes sometimes. There's not much Coco could do about that. He tried to, I think he was going more to try and kill that last minion to get to level 2 and try and clear waves than he was trying to initially aggress on Colebox, but as soon as Colebox popped the Vorpal spikes on him, he had to try and go for a trade of some kind. It just didn't really work out for him. I want to watch this one more time to kind of confirm that. Yeah, so he's trying to kill this minion, and Colebox hits level 2, and he kills that one. Hits the brittle after the Bell's Breath to almost give himself a little bit of relief to be able to walk away. Can't kill the minions in time to hit level 2, has to walk away. I think he might have thought he would also hit level 2 off those minions as well, and it just didn't happen. So trying to walk away, then the Vorpal spikes just slow him down enough for Colebox hit him with that extra knock up. So he's at half health already, so he's already pushed up on a turret, which is not what you want as an Ornn against a Cho'Gath, but this is why you pick Cho'Gath into Ornn anyways, because Cho'Gath naturally has a better push, better sustain, and should be able to have the top lane priority. I don't think he's going to force him to back yet, but I mean, it's going to allow him to go get some deep vision on his lane to keep himself safe, vision for Skarner. So already early advantage being pressed out for Yulgud. Bot lane going kind of as expected as far as push wise. One thing I did also, actually, as we already see Sejuani going in for that invade. But I was gonna say, if Sejuani can hit level 3 off this Scuttle Crab, because I don't think she's hit level 3. No, she's hit level 3. If she possibly goes for a gank around Tribush, right down here, right in this area, they could look for an early gank onto the bot lane. However, I think Skarner kind of sniffed it out. As you see, he immediately went red, blue, wolves, and already back over to his side of the jungle. Completely ignoring this entire half of the map because he recognizes that bot lane pushed in, and that leaves him susceptible to a gank from Sejuani, who probably has level 3 and can therefore come look for something. A lot to extrapolate, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see where his jungle pathing goes. He might just be going, yeah, he's just going for Raptors, actually. Luckily for You're Good, they do have a ward in that Tribush, so they do anticipate the possibility of a Sejuani gank in the bottom lane because they have such an early push so far up. So, and if you know Sejuani's clear, she's gonna pull basically about the same clear as Skarner. Not as exact where he can go from red to blue to wolves back to his Raptors, but knowing his push and knowing how fast he can clear means that she knows she has to get this Scuttle Crab vision, because otherwise he's just gonna invade, look for her Gromp, and just continue to push that advantage and invade her jungle. And at the same time get river control. So she's going to go ahead and get river control before he can, because that's another big thing of why Skarner is so good right now, is because he can clear so fast, he can easily kill these Scuttle Crabs early and get river control wherever he wants, therefore giving his team a lot of safety. So she's going to prevent that. And probably just go back to clearing her jungle. I don't think she's going to look for a gank here. Be kind of dumb to try and look for it. So mm, mm-hmm. So she still did go for the gank anyway. She just chose some unique pathing. However, looking at the fight being taken beforehand, what happens here? So they just go in way too early. That's not even on Sejuani. She's trying to find some unique pathing because she doesn't know if they have Tribush warded right here. She doesn't know. Her team wasn't able to see if they warded it. They don't know if there's vision there. She doesn't know if Skarner's on this bomb half of the map either, but she doesn't matter because she's going to be able to get to lane first and get the first gank off. So it doesn't even matter. He's down here. He doesn't even see her, by the way. So that entire Skarner might, be afraid. Why are you in his side of the jungle wall? He's there. They can't see each other, which works out to her benefit more than him, because he's going to go down here and be too late to respond. Or should be too late to respond. However, her bot lane initiates this 2v2 getting ready way too early. They should have waited a little bit longer, probably like a few more seconds before he goes in for this taunt, because now he's backed up. At the same time, Jin has landed some autos, so he can just hit them with a deadly flourish, and at the same time just completely blast Shin, who's... This is why I don't like support Shin, because even when he goes in at level 2, I highly doubt he's taken the Spirit's Refuge, so he can't block auto attacks from Timmy the Tank, and therefore, even if he goes in and lands the stun, Timmy the Tank just gets out of that stun, does what he's about to do, which is land a deadly flourish and some auto attacks, and now you're a quarter health because you're too squishy to take that engage and still come out unscathed. However, they're gonna fall up anyways, but it's gonna be all on Sejuani to make this gank work. Luckily for her, I believe that IWQ did already use up his headbutt pulverize, so he won't have a way to peel for Timmy the Tank if they go in. It just sucks that they don't have a building kick to help out, because in this lane, to make this gank work especially, the onus was all on the Shin initially to try and make it work. Now, Sejuani can still make it happen, or at least blow some sums. Timmy the Tank actually did take Cleanse, which I think is smart, knowing of Badfizz Permafrost and a Glacial Prison, and they had IWQ take heal. I didn't even notice that. I think this is really smart for lane, because they recognize their lane's going to be the one that's pushed up the most and therefore most susceptible to ganks. So they should be able to get out of this one fine. They might have to blow all their sums, or at least most of them, for it, but they should be able to walk away from this fine. So the onus truly was on Shin to be able to initiate this gank, because either he times it well enough to where Timmy Tank doesn't have time to use cleanse, because I think initially the way taunt works is initially you can't use it for about like half a second. You can't use your summer spells, and then that's just long enough for even if he cleanses, Sejuani's there, and she just hits him with permafrost afterwards. So not having building kick there is huge for the progress of this game. We're gonna see how it goes. Maybe they can still turn around if Timmy the Tank and IWQ play too aggressively or misplay this. But yeah, that entire sequence was just started way too early by building kick. He should have waited a few more seconds. At least wait until Sejuani was coming out of the tri-bush and about to come around this corner earlier. And therefore, he could have tried to go for a flash, taunt, exhaust maybe to give her even more time to catch up. So, going to see how this goes. They heal up. Get a flash. See, and because he can't follow up with a taunt because A, he's too low, and B, he just doesn't have the cooldown anymore, as soon as Sejuani misses the initial charge, let's take another look at it. Yeah, so here, as soon as Sejuani misses this, as soon as IWQ sidesteps this, and Timmy the Tank flashes the adding of the permafrost stacks, the gank is over. Because now they don't have Shin to possibly follow it with a flash taunt and then exhaust. He's too far away. He's all the way back here. And even if they continue to chase this down and get closer, Skarner's right there to counter gank. And you just don't want to have any part of that. And actually, they're going to go back in because they realize Skarner's there. They realize that building kick and Hunter are too low to try and come back into this fight. Because even with heal and exhaust, they're just too low to try and come back in. IWQ still has his heal. Tim of the Tank still has cleanse to get out of any CC from Bad Fizz and from Building Kick. So they recognize this and continue to aggress. He lands the stun on the Sejuani. Because she's the closest priority target, and I believe she already used her charge. So therefore, it's a lot harder for her to escape than Hunter is. So the less slippery target as well. So therefore, go ahead and go try and get that guaranteed kill. If anything, you burn a flash. Best case scenario, you get double buffs onto the Jin, or even more buffs on the BLH. Worst case scenario, you get a flash out of her, and now she's in even more danger in her jungle, and you blew a key summoner from Bad Fizz to maybe escape Skarner if he decides to invade her jungle later on down the road because he knows where she'll be now. So yep, this is pretty much yeah, she still gets away. The cooldown from charge low enough to get her over the wall, but like I said, burn the flash, and now he won't be able to get river control because she did take Rift Scuttler, but he can at least he didn't lay down a ward, but now he knows he should be able to play more aggressive because if he goes in, she can't escape, especially if he finds her on low or half health. So he's gonna go clear this camp, probably go back, get his first jungle item, and then maybe use some of his wards to get some deep vision, and then look for an aggressive 1v1 with her, and get control of the dragon pit, and also get rift scuttlers and get river control if he wants. He's kind of free to do a lot of stuff now because Vladimir is doing pretty well in mid lane. Because he still has his combat summoner up, he has a lot of lane priority because while Veigar can slightly push and maintain mid lane priority, if he mispositions incorrectly, Vladimir can just all in him, ignite, and try and kill him. So Veigar right now has to be a little bit careful until his wave clears a little bit better, basically after first back. So he kind of has a lot of freedom to do what he wants now the flash is done. They can get control of Drake Pit and control of Flame Out of Love's blue side jungle, or he can go get control of the red side jungle, look for an aggressive 1v1, get river control, keep his top half of the map safe. It's kind of all up to him. The good news, I believe this is actually where the stream cuts out and just we had to switch things. Is good news is for Flame Out of Love is they did save all of their bot lane summoners. No one had to waste any a flash or anything of that nature, so they'll still be safe in that regard. And they did get the flash from both IWQ and Timmy the Tank, so that could be something for Bad Fizz to revisit. However, Timmy the Tank does still have the cleanse, and IWQ still has heal, so it's gonna be really hard for them to pull anything off. So the Timbo advantage still going in Yulgood's favor early on right now. And this is what they want to do. This is their win condition. So it's not that surprising. This gold advantage isn't surprising either. So I am surprised, actually. I didn't even notice this. Is Tim of the Tank went boots first, which is really, really smart. Smart if you want to be able to dodge the Jin taunt. You know, uh, one of the biggest parts of Jin's kits. He goes cleanse and he goes boots, so that's ultimate safety from a champion who, and even when fleet footwork. So he went completely safe for a lane that has a lot of potential to be aggressive. He went extremely safe, which I had to give him kudos. Most people in this position would have gone really aggressive with their build early, trying to get early damage down, and maybe even if he had Doran's shield, they could have possibly finished a kill onto Hunter or onto Bad Fizz. But I mean, you know you're the most important part of your team this early in the game. You don't want to give up any early kills, knowing that you'll be ganked the most. So I think it's really smart of him to go this defensive build instead of being a complete Chad and trying to go aggro early. So this is the part where I must switch videos. What the heck? It's weird. Star Wars stuff. What's this? Oh. Alright. Now we're getting into the other half of this game. Gotta turn the speed up again. So, main phase continues. They're just farming it out. What the heck? What the hoo-ha? Yeah, just farming it out. Mountain Drake's the first Drake, so not something, if you're Yule good and you have this Mountain Drake up, you just want to look for a way to fight around it. It's not something that you're super worried about taking, obviously, because you don't have the best siege composition in the world, so you're not like super serious about trying to take this dragon off the map. It will help you get toward an Elder Dragon win condition, but as far as early game goes, you'd rather keep your priority in your lanes over seeding possible priority to go for a dragon. But you do want to try and get some sort of vision control around it, so you can possibly look for a fight around it once Skarner hits level 6 and can look for an Impale Flash, or the rest of your composition comes online basically level 6. So you want to wait for Kobox to probably get his feast, and then either look for a play bot lane with maybe a tower dive after TP into the Drake, or you want to just wait till Flame Out of Love decides to try and congregate around that Drake if they want to try and take it. Because I think for them, it would benefit them a little bit more than it will. I mean, it won't benefit either team that much, but I think it will benefit Flame Out a little bit more. And I think that they are more likely to be the team to go for it, unless Yoga gets such a tempo advantage and such a gold advantage early that they can just take it regardless and not, be contested for it. I mean, why not take a free Drake? But um, and they are up, getting close to 1,000 gold, going into 6 minutes, so it might hit that point. But you just want to look to force a play around that dragon pit with the control you have right now. That's the only reason. That's still the only good it is to you right now. Other than that, or trying to force the next dragon that might be an infernal, or at least start stacking up the dragons to get to that Elder Drake. Excuse me. Win condition. So Sejuani getting river control again. He's trying to not exactly counter jungle with Skarner, but at least, keep her lanes and herself safe from Skarner's Chadness, his ability for early aggression into her jungle. So, I mean, it's been working because Skarner hasn't tried to invade once yet onto her jungle. He's just been clearing his own camps and getting whatever Roost Scullers up for himself. Um, so they're actually going to go ahead and go for this dragon right now. So and like I said, it's not because it's something they absolutely need, but they recognize they have the lane pressure, they have the control, and as predicted, Sejuani is heading down to try and contest. They're going to try and look to fight around this. You already have Cho'Gath recalling, to get ready for the TP because he's hit 6. Vladimir's hit 6. They have been matched in level 6 hits from Coco and Latucan. So, but for Latucan, I mean that's a click right now. That's just an R click ability, and I don't think at this juncture it even does that much damage. Unless it's like to kill a really, really low Timmy the Tank or BLH. So it's not something you have to be worried about him walking in his one-shotting somebody. So it's really your concern is Coco the Dragon, but he's been pushed in. Or has he been pushed in, or is he gonna recall? He might have the room to recall. No, yeah, he's been pushed in, so he has to try and catch this wave or lose experience. Cho'Gath is gonna get first back off and then be able to TP in for this fight if it happens. And it looks like Flame Out Love actually want to take this fight. I don't think it's advisable. They don't have bottom lane priority. Jin hasn't recalled. Ezreal might be able to win a fight with Jin just because he has Dorn's Blade. And Jin hasn't recalled. And they are actually low, so I mean this might be a fight that Flame Out Love can actually take. Because they don't have flashes on Jin and on Alistar. And full sums on the bot lane of Flame Out Love. They just have to make sure Bad Fizz doesn't die too early. And I think, yeah, BLH and Timid Tank, they recognize that they're trying to pull it out so they can pull it toward Vladimir. But Coco and Latucan can just TP into this fight and make an immediate numbers disadvantage if they want to. And the members of OK You'll Good are too squishy, so I think they're just going to pull back off this. They thought they had the advantage. I think Jin goes a more aggressive build path bottom lane. They'd maybe try and look for this fight. But they just took too long to try and start it. Took too much dragon damage. They did bait out a TP from Vigor though, so that's good. They can always try and dissuade Flame Out Love from taking the Drake, but what they might have done is they might have just leashed it for them. I think Flame Out Love will try and finish this. I think it's a smart play from them. OK, Good can't really join back in. All 3 of their members right here are low health. Vladimir is roaming down, but all he has is Ignite, and the rest of his team is on the retreat. They don't even have position advantage anymore, and Cho'Gath is walking back up toward top lane. So yeah, they're not even going to contest this. They should just keep walking away. I'm surprised that Flame Out Love didn't start that. I think they could have started and taken it, given how low the members of Yo Good are, and the fact that they can't really contest while Jin and Alistar don't have flashes, because it would be easy engage and possible cleanup for the side of Flame Out Love, but they disengaged, but they got what they were looking for, which was, again, using that to try and force Flame Out Love's hand, either force him to fight them, use a TP, use some sort of global or summoner spells to try and knock them off of it, so they got what they wanted. They've lost bot lane push for the moment, but ultimately the tank has to do is he can wait for the wave to be pushed in, clear it, recall, run back down with his serrated Dirk, and he's perfectly fine. Same for mid lane. It's just their time to reset the map, and they'll still have push priority, they should. And they'll be fine. So they don't lose too much off of this. It wasn't the most perfectly executed play in the world, but they still gained advantages off of it regardless. It did allow the side of Flame Out Love to catch up with them in gold, but this early in the game, gold isn't like a gold lead isn't going to be huge this early in the game. The fact that it was as big as it was before was surprising, actually, but it shouldn't be that big this early. I think a lot of that gold was through farm, and off of Skarner just out farming the Sejuani right now, or actually he's not even out farming right now. Weird. No tempo advantage. I thought they had tempo advantage, but they do have CS advantages in most lanes, so they do have push priority. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a passive game. I shouldn't expect Skarn to have a whole lot of farm advantage because he's not aggressively invading. They're just basically clearing their own sides of the jungle and trying to get vision control for their team. So, it's all good in the hood. Just watching them clear jungle. So this roam from Vega is interesting. Cho'Gath and Coco, Cho'Gath and Ornn were able to save their teleports. So they have them for the next fight. And what Viger has done here is he's pushed in his lane, and he's gonna go top, look for an engage. If they can't kill Colbox, they're gonna at least try and force him to back and use his teleport, and therefore take one global off the map and basically even up the global. Actually, give themselves a global advantage because I forgot that Weenie Hut Jr. hasn't switched over to teleport yet. I mean, he could always recall and switch it, and he wouldn't have a cooldown penalty because he hadn't used the summoner spell yet. But as it stands right now, they would have a TP advantage if this play works, and they force Colbox to use teleport. And if they force him to use flash, that's even better. So he's going to roam up and look for it. I do think, though, that they won't be able to find it because Coco just has a push advantage. He has 4 minions, one of them being a cannon minion to the 2. And he does have a cannon minion, but this will die faster. It'll push back into Colbox. So I don't think that Viger will get there in time to where Colbox will be in a position in this forward position right here on the river to try and look for a gank. I think they'll probably be back here where my mouse is by the time he gets there. A little bit back farther, somewhere where Colbox can, if he doesn't get hit by the edge of the event horizon, can easily just walk out of, even if he gets knocked up by Coco. It's going to take a lot of good coordination from Coco and Latucan, because if they can't land any of their stuns in the chain, they won't be able to force out the flash. And therefore, not only will be able to walk away, he might be able to just sustain back up when the wave pushes in, or at least recall and not have to waste his TP. So we'll see how this works out. It might have been even more guaranteed if Sejuani went to go join them, but I think she's still trying to catch up and take her red buff. So, and I keep forgetting that the numbers are deceiving now because all the camps have been equalized to 4. I think even red and blue count as 4. They might just count as 1, but I think if the old CS rules apply to jungle, that the Skarner would actually have a bit of a tempo advantage because it wouldn't normalize all the numbers and have a little bit more farm than the Sejuani. You already see he has his red already down on Krugs, still staying down in this side of the map to control the Dragon Pit while she's just heading over to her red as blue buff is spawning. So I think he still has a tempo advantage, just really weird to count because of the normalization of CS. Regardless, though, I think my broader point was that that's why she's not going to go join this gank, I think, because she has to try and keep up tempo with Skarner so he doesn't run rampant and then be able to invade on her and take camps and starve her out of farm. So she's going to have to spend most of her time keeping up with him. She could possibly look for a blue buff invade if she takes red fast enough, but she's going to have to just keep up with him most of the game. And that's why Skarner is such a powerful pick right now, because even when he's not ganking lanes or invading you, he forces you to keep up with him. Because if you don't keep up with him, that's when he does invade you. And especially after level 6, that's when he does look for those ganks that put your lanes behind, because you have to keep up with him. If you can't keep up with him, then you just risk losing your early game and having it snowball out of control because he gets such a tempo advantage. So we'll see how this top lane play works. I didn't take into account that the wave actually was going to come in and normalize. So all that stuff about the wave pushing out and pushing back into Colbox is nullified because I didn't take into account that the waves were going to show up, or the supporting waves were going to show up about the same time, and therefore keep the wave neutral. So let's see how this gank works. Probably my Kit Kat. Ew. 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 It's nasty. It's only been sitting on my bed and still had enough time to melt up a little bit. Anyways, sorry for that delay. Actually, let me go get some water real quick. I'll be right back. Alright. So looking back at this play, we're going to reverse a little bit. Go back to before he got there. So Kobach sees what's coming and he does flash. He has to, because if Coco was able to land that stun on the pillar and then Latucan follows up, he's not dead, but he's extremely low. And then therefore he can't even stay in lane to try and save his TP. So they do get the flash, which could leave him up to a repeat gank if he wants to stay around, or if Bad Fizz wants to come through. Once again, Bad Fizz really can't do that because he has to try and keep pace. Excuse me, with Skarner. But at least for Colebox, wasting that flash isn't as important as having to use your teleport to get back to lane and keep lane advantage, because if he's forced to use TP, he obviously loses CS and experience in lane, and no one wants to do that. And then that would allow Ornn to catch up. Ornn already almost down 20 CS, so that would allow Ornn to catch up. Don't want that to happen. So, also having to waste the TP, obviously, for team fight purposes and around Dragon and things like that. However, because they have seen Veigar roam up to the top lane, Vladimir has tried to come down to roam to the bot lane. I think he's going to at least have to look for vision here, because he's been seen on multiple wards. So he's going to try and look to take Rift Sculler if it's up. At the very least, get some vision in the river to kind of respond to the play made to top lane, because his bottom lane is recalling. They push in the wave. They're going to go ahead and recall. So there's not much for him to do in this situation. So good play by Flame Out Love. Good play by Colebox to avoid it. And actually, Coco, I like this gank. I like this gank a lot. Oh, yeah, that was great. So Coco, instead of just being satisfied with, okay, I got his flash, that's great, let's go back to laning and shoving him in. Now I have shove. He uses his shove priority to roam down to the bot lane. Vladimir leaving lane while getting vision on Mountain Dragon is good. He pushed in the wave, so they know that he'll have to play forward in a forward position to even farm once he's pushed in Veigar. So Coco immediately roams down and gets ready for a play. Weenie Hut Jr. does have flash up, and I think in this situation he just kind of disrespected the coordination and the CC that could come out from Flame Out Love. Yes, you have the Sanguine Pool, but Latucan, and we'll see it up here, so he hits that, goes for pillar. Weenie Hut Jr. immediately pulls, right? But because he pulled that early, he was just ready he was right for Latucan to hit him with a Event Horizon, and he's stuck inside the thing. And then when you hit you hit Brittle, Bella's Breath, get the Brittle, also get the stun knock from the two hammers hitting into the Q from Latucan, and on top of that, Latucan has enough AP now should have enough AP now from stacks in Lost Chapter to where that's close enough for him to kill him. And I think that the Comet actually gets him into enough range to where the ultimate will kill him. Uses flash, but doesn't flash out before the Toucan can activate the ultimate and gets blown up. So that's another key repositioning summoner lost for the side of Yulegood. They have flash down on their top laner, flash down on their mid laner for fights. So now all Weenie Hut Jr. has to combat with is Ignite, which, now for future fights, if I were him, I might think about switching to maybe Ghost or Cleanse, because now, yes, I have Sanguine Pool, but now once that runs out, I don't have Flash to get away anymore. I need some way to have some team fight mobility so I can't be caught by CC as easily. And if I don't want to look for mobility, at least go for a Cleanse to try and give yourself some more safety. Other than the Ignite. And the first blow on Victor is, not Victor, on Veigar is even better, because that's obviously going to accelerate him to finishing that Lost Chapter into what should be Eluden's Echo, give him more AP. He's going to have the ability to push out and get more stacks. This might also even force Weenie Hut Jr. to switch to the Teleport with his Unsealed Spellbook and TP back to lane so he doesn't miss too much farm. So this is all good for Flame Out Low, because this just allows them to catch up in lanes. They have a gold lead now. I believe that's mainly out of the CS and gold advantage from Ezreal from the Kleptomancy passive, plus the first blood they just got, because I don't think they've gotten, you see all the other CS Sejuani is up in CS, but other than that, Ezreal's barely up in CS by 2, and Cho'Gath is destroying Ornn as he should be in the top lane in CS as well. Mid lane, Vigor is down, but that first blood gold plus Ezreal's Kleptomancy gives them that gold lead. So it's a little bit deceptive looking at that thinking, oh, what do you mean they're getting even? They have a gold lead. It's not really their gold lead. It's more Hunter and Kleptomancy plus first blood. So all in all, though, this helps them continue to stall out and slow down the tempo of You're Good, allowing them to scale up like they want to. Vigor, I don't know if he'll be able to finish Lost Chapter off that, but at least he should be able to get the, I think, blasting one that it builds into if he wants to recall. It also allows him to get vision control. You already see building kick immediately roaming up to clear that ward. So now they're going to have vision control over the Drake pit. So the one win condition, or the one condition that You'll Good had for starting a fight to sort of start this snowball if they can win that fight and build even more tempo is kind of gone now, because now they've lost vision control around the Drake pit and therefore can't really fight confidently around it, which just stalls out the game even longer for Flame Out of Love. So, and Jin went BF Sword. I'm guessing that's just, I'm guessing that, I think I've seen this a little bit more. It's another thing I'll check on pro builds right now. Pro builds and champion.gg for Jin, because it's a mixed bag. I think people are starting to go back to the Jin straight up crit build of going your first crit item Essence Reaver. It also helps, I think, work toward the Jinsu's getting that extra attack damage, because now that Jinsu's basically stacks off of solely off the attack damage you have rather than off of, giving you mixed on hit damage. It really changed the way some 80 or he has built. So we'll see what it says, and it does say that a lot of people are going just straight for a first crit item now instead of going for the Ghost Blade. I think the last person in the last few hours, at least, to go for the Ghost Blade has been Yuki, which I don't even know what team he plays for, but he went 1-5-6 on it, so it wasn't that impressive. So some of the minor regions that still haven't caught up, I think, still playing it, but for the most part, most of the major region 80 carry players and solo queue players are going for this just first crit item, which helps you with your Ginsu's going Ginsu's third or second if you want to get that AD boost early. So it makes sense. Either way, though, he should have enough power to, if Ezreal and Shin slip up like they did before, they should be able to get a kill for Yogood's bot lane. So now this is going to make Ezreal and Shin play even more carefully in lane. They might need some assistance, maybe in the form of a bot lane dive, or hopefully Flame Out of Love's jungler will apply pressure somewhere else in either a gank, a roam, or what have you. Just checking champion.gg real quick. Let's see, yeah, most people are going back to Essence Reaver first. So the original Jin build before lethality became popular on him. Makes sense. Makes a ton of sense. So go back to watching the game. So where were we? They got that kill. I don't know why my nose got so stuffed. And now let's pause, because Skarner is going to look for a return kill of his own onto Coco in top lane, and possibly trade summoners, or at least look to force him to use TP as well. At the same time, he is also the most pushed up laner because Vladimir is dead, so Vigor has no competition, and bot lane just got back to lane, so it's kind of what makes the most sense in a case. Like, he can't really invade Sejuani anymore because Flame Out of Love has all the river control. He went in a way that where he won't be spotted by this control ward right here. So, and he's level 6 too, so he's going to pop Predator, most likely try and drag Coco back in. If he can make Coco not only waste his TP by killing him or forcing him to flash and back, but also waste his ultimate, that's be 3 really big advantageous cooldowns wasted, because then he won't have the call of the Forge God anymore to impact a team fight. He won't have TP, and he won't have Flash. So Coco would literally basically be useless for the next fight around any objective in the bottom half of the map. So let's see how this goes. So he uses Flash. Yeah. It's just really hard to escape that. Yeah, I mean, there's not much he can do. Right here. Actually, that kill took a long time. I think they were trying to wait for the, let's see. I think they were trying to wait for the feast to come back off cooldown. No, he feasted early, and he didn't get the kill because of the resistances that you get onto Ornn from using the Bellows Breath. Yeah, so because of the resistances that you get on Ornn from the Bellows Breath, he basically, the feast didn't work, and then, and usually, no one will work when the feast indicator shows up, but I guess it did in that time. I don't know if we can see it in Spectre or not, but excuse me. Well, yeah, so he wasted that, and that caused the kill to take a little bit longer. On the other half of the map, while this is going on, the one thing I am disappointed in is Sejuani, which she can't do much besides try and get a counter gank on the other end of the map, because they can't try and take Dragon. They have no bot lane priority. Veigar recalled, so they don't have mid lane priority and help. So he goes for it. Sejuani goes for her blue. I'd have much rather had her try to make a play to the bot side. They do have it warded though with a control ward, so that might have been, if they knew the vision was there and it was pinged out, that might have been what prevented her from going down there. But my first instinct as bad Fizz would be, okay, they're ganking my top laner. Let me try and find something on the bottom lane. I have level 6. And even if they have a control ward, if you time your engage right, you can still run through the control ward, run down into lane, either get the flash glacial prison or at least get the charge into the glacial prison and still hit somebody and try and look for something. So they don't find anything else on the other side of the map. Coco goes down. Right here. They give Colbox a kill, which is smart because that'll get him to his what I would like to see would be an Abyssal Mask first. There's no reason to really build Banner Command this early, even in lane. Does Banner build out of Aeons? I think it does. No, it doesn't build out of Aeons. I'm wrong. So he is obviously going, I think, for, he's either gonna go for the Banner, or not Banner. I keep saying Banner Command. He's either gonna go for the Abyssal Mask, or he's gonna go for the Adaptive Helm. Yeah, so Abyssal Mask or Adaptive Helm. I think Abyssal Mask is going to be his choice because he wants it for the team fighting later on, for the magic, the AP amp, and the magic resist team wide. So that makes a lot of sense. And it's just going to get him there that much faster. And it should force Ornn to TP back to lane unless he wants to get to an even bigger gold deficit. Now, okay, so there's bad Fizz now, but I think he just waited too long. Like, he went to go get blue buff first and then go in for a fight. And I think he should have just gone straight for the fight first. Your blue buff will always be there. You know Skarner's on the other side of the map, so no one's going to go in to steal it because Vlad's recalled and coming back. So there's no point in you taking blue first and then going down. Especially also, this is like the second or third blue I think he's taken. At least the second, and that should probably go to Veigar anyways. So I just think that he should have acted faster. They will get some vision control on the bottom half of the map, but I mean, they won't capitalize on anything. Coco's gonna have to come back up. Like I was saying before, we saw that play. Either he saves his TP and just risks losing even more farm because Cho'Gath has pushed the wave in, so he's gonna miss at least 1.5 waves. Or he takes the TP, gets that wave, but then he's basically useless for the next team fight because he can't go anywhere. And I think he's gonna opt to just walk down. So he's gonna take one for the team, try and save his TP. But now, if Yulgud is smart, they use this window while the call of the Forge God is down and try and look for a play around the Dragon Pit, or maybe even as Rift Herald comes up, the Rift Herald pit. Because even if Ornn TP's in, he doesn't have his biggest team fighting asset, which is the Call of the Forge God. Yes, Flame Out Love does have the Glacial Prison up, but once again, that's one out of a plethora of things that they would need to win team fight, and even if they landed on Team of the Tank, he's gonna cleanse. Colbox is too tanky right now for it to matter if he gets stunned up and focused on. And BLH still has his flash and can easily get out of the way of a Glacial Prison thrown at his face. So the two targets that they're most likely to hit are tanks that you don't want to try and be focusing this early when you don't have any sort of armor or magic pin on any of your carries. And um, building kick, I don't think you want to rely on him hitting any taunts right now. Even if it's not saying that he's a bad player, but Shin is still too squishy at this point to try and rely on a flash taunt into the middle of their team. Because unless he can land a clutch like 3 or 4 man taunt to help his team lay down some damage and set up the follow up, it still I don't think would be enough to win them a team fight. He would just immediately get blown up after the fact. There's enough summoners up on the side of Yul Good to get out of that taunt once it's been landed, if they even land the taunt. And yeah, so basically Call of the Forge God is their biggest team fighting tool right now, and it's down. So if Yulgood is smart, he'll try and force a fight around one of these neutral objectives, force Flame Out to either answer them and take a disadvantageous fight, or they'll just have to give up the Mountain Drake and the Rift Herald, which can be used to try and open up top or bottom. So they're kind of in a pickle, Flame Out is right now. And it looks like so. Before I can even say anything about it, they're gonna go for a fight in the bot lane. So you see the flash taunt right here. Uh, he cleanses it. It takes a little bit long to cleanse. Oh, they dodged it. Let's just see how this progresses. TP comes in. Ornn's here, but can't do anything. He gets chunked out. Veigar is roaming down. Mm. Yep. So in that fight, it looks good. And at the end of the day, they still do get the cleanse out of Timmy the Tank. But I don't think Ornn should have used TP just yet. Because once again, he has no effectiveness. I mean, you feel like he has to, otherwise they're outnumbered. But at the same time, I think if you look at the whole picture, and hindsight's 2020, obviously, but if you look at the whole picture, Veigar roamed down too late. The gank, the glacial prison missed, so that's a cooldown down. Your TP isn't going to change the outcome of that fight. I think your team was already going to be backing off anyways because they wasted all their major cooldowns. If they continue to try and fight, they're kind of stupid. Let the Cho'Gath waste his TP. And at the same time, you did enough damage to where, okay, you're good. Don't have the positioning or the health from some of their, from at least the Alistar as we go back. So we got to look at why you'll good backs away from this because they know Skarner's is in the top side of the map and they don't have a number advantage. So they're going to have to back off this anyways. So, yeah, you botched the fight and therefore can't win. So I don't even think you should use TP to try and join the fight because you've already botched the initial engage. You join the fight isn't going to do anything for your team. And Yulgood isn't going to aggress anymore because the numbers are too even. They don't have BLH to try and look for an engage with. So they're going to back off anyways. And I think on top of that, starting the dragon is also bad. Because they're going to call BLH down. And it's going to take him a minute to get here, but if he pops Predator, he can get here pretty damn fast. And once he gets here, you're pretty much screwed because Cho'Gath's last feast anyways. He doesn't have flash, but I don't think you can kill Cho'Gath in time to stop him from taking the dragon anyways. BLH should have Impale by the time he gets there. Weenie Hut Jr. has Hemoflag. Tim of the Tank has his ultimate, and IWQ is tanky enough with his ultimate to go in. So they have all their team fighting ultimates up and way more summoners up than you do. IWQ has Flash Shield. Tim of the Tank still has at least Flash. BLH has Flash. Smite. Your top laner has, if you're Flame Out Love, your top laner has no summoners. Bad Fizz, his Smite is still on cooldown. Chukan has Flash, but Building Kick is stuck on his Hex Flash. So he can't even look for a good Flash taunt to try and, find a good engage. They're trying to bet on numbers advantage, but they don't realize until what I will assume will be too late that they're going to be pinched from the back. But we'll see how this goes, because, you know, Yo Good could still always misplay this. BLH might, uh, you know, misplay the stagger, because what Yo Good should do is basically stagger them and force Flame Out Love to have a split decision and start taking dragon damage, and therefore it's like, do we finish it or do we run? And during that entire time, I'm trying to decide. They're taking damage, and then you look for your engage onto Latucan or onto Hunter, maybe even on the building kick since he's still pretty squishy. While the rest of your team kind of collapses on them, Colbox can try and look for the feast, or maybe look for some CC knockup. Weenie Hut Jr. lands the Hemoplague. Really, it's going to be all up to Weenie Hut Jr. landing a big enough Hemoplague and laying down enough damage to where his team can follow up confidently without being worried that the fight might be turned on them. So, see, he gets Comedy Pop's ultimate. Nice knockup. And a stun, but see, yeah, it's nowhere near enough. Coco's going to come in and try and save it. Shin's going to try and save him. They could get a kill on the back end of this. They do. So I think the one thing, so we're going to look at this fight first. We're going to look at this big of a fight first. And then we'll sort of look at the back end of it and why you would end up basically losing the ability to take an objective off of it. So as expected, they go in. Toucan does land a pretty good. They land all the things they need to try and stall this out, right? They land the Event Horizon, which stalls them out, but IWQ just pops ultimate, goes in, lands a 3-man knockup right here, which then gives Weenie Hut Jr. the ability to land a Hemoplague, so that's a lot of damage. Him and the tank is in a place where no one can really get to him, and he's positioning really, really well. Back up a little bit more again. Oh, I went forward, my bad. And you see Colbox, immediately he's gonna immediately eat building kick. And I mean, this is all building kick can do to help his team win this fight, is try and land a multi-man taunt, which he does. But as soon as he does, he goes into the middle team, gets 8, and they land down damage, but not enough. The heal is still there, so they just heal up off that. And Vladimir is gonna Weenie Hut Jr. is gonna heal up off the Hemoplague damage anyways, so they can keep going. Skarner's not even there yet, so they're basically winning a 4v5 by themselves. Orn does a good job going in and trying to stall again, and I think IWQ is actually late on his headbutt pulverize. I think he saw the Coco pillar into the knockup coming, and he was a little bit too late on the trigger. But you see, right here, as you see Coco go back in, you see Bad Fizz turn right there. Hunter, I think, is relying on his arcane shift to get out anyway, so that's why he's there to get knocked up. But you see Bad Fizz turn back around, thinking that they might have an engage, and they just absolutely do not. And that's why he gets knocked up and gets blasted, because he's still not tanky enough as a Sejuani to take all this damage yet. He's only sitting on the components of his Cinderhulk. So they get blown up. Hunter is able to get out because he has his arcane shift. But Jin bops her. And then he can just ult. And his ult isn't even like to kill. His ult is just to slow them down long enough for BLH to pop Predator and get in there with a flash impale. Flash smite impale. Now, the reason Weenie Hut Jr. took so much damage, I don't think it was that the Veigar threw out another Q. I have to pay attention. Yeah, he does throw out another Q. So Weenie Hut Jr. But it's that, and it's the Drake plus Comet. So he has to burn his stopwatch just to survive, because they didn't drop Dragon aggro, which actually is going to be to Flame Love's benefit in helping them turn this fight around a little bit, because Dragon still does enough damage with aggro. However, Toucan actually flashed, and the click landed on top of Hunter, unfortunately. So Hunter's going to go down, and Toucan's going to get out. But here's where you'll get are a bit too greedy. BLH, IWQ goes in, looks for Ornn, knocks him into the wall, but they keep underestimating how tanky Ornn is, I think, and how tanky can be when using Bellows Breath and using all those resistances. So he knocks them back, gets the Shin ultimate as well, uses Bellows Breath, and now Colbox is basically dead because they thought they could kill him, but they can't. Colbox is dead. They can look for more if they want. Timmy the Tank stuns them up, but at the same time, all they've done, which is good for Flame Out of Love, is prevent them from being able to take this Mountain Drake and keeping that objective out of their hands. So, like, even though earlier we said that all You'll Good want to do is use this Drake to fight, which they did, it still would have been a lot better if they could use it to fight, win the fight, and still get the Mountain Drake and have an added win condition in Elder and just more pushing power with the Mountain Drake. They do get their 1,000 gold lead, and I believe off of this, Jin should be able to recall and get closer to finishing that Essence Reaver, or IE, depending on where he goes. And I think off this that Cho'Gath can finish his Abyssal Mask, and Vlad should be able to finish maybe his Proto Belt. So I think regardless, a lot of items can be finished off of this back. So we see Skarner, he gets the second Cinder Hulk. He actually wasn't able to finish that. I don't think anyone finished their items. Cho'Gath finished his Merc Treads to counteract the Vigor damage and, decrease the duration of stuns, which I think is a smart move considering he's against an Ornn who most of Ornn's kit is stuns on stuns on stuns and slows, so that's smart. Skarner doesn't go for the full Cinder Hulk finish. He goes for to finish his Ninja Tabbied Predator Boots, so more armor. So that is also, it's smart for him because it means he can also get around the map faster. So it's faster clear, faster mobility, and he gets armor on top of the Predator. So that's smart as well. Jin gets another component to that Essence Reaver. And when you're just comparing items right now, Ornn only has his spirit, his Spectre's Cow. Sejuani has finished her Cinder Hulk, but that's all she has. She's actually the only champion right now that has a fully completed item. Vigor's still working toward that Luden's Echo. Ezreal is so far away from finishing his Triforce, that's not even funny. So he's extremely far behind right now in itemization compared to Jin. And supports, their itemization doesn't matter yet until we get to about like mid game. So and I suspect to see building kick build that King's Knight's Vow. So after they finish their vision items, of course. So after that play, what do You'll Good do? I think that because no towers have been taken, they are smart to just. God, I don't know why my nose keeps getting stuffed. I think after that fight, they're just smart to go back to laning and farming and pushing their lane advantages. Kobox should have even more of a push against Cho'Gath. I mean, against Ornn. He did pick up the Spectre's Cow to negate some of that magic damage that comes through from Kobox, but I don't think it will be enough to at least negate the push right now. Vladimir should be able to comfortably lane against Vigor, and especially now that he has the Kindle Gem and has cooldown and sustain. And in bot lane, they're going to dominate this 2v2 at all points of the game. Sejuani is going to have to do a lot of work to try and continue to stall this game. She's going to have to continue to do the good work she's been doing, getting vision control. That's been her all game, and that's really a credit to her because if she wasn't controlling this vision the way she was in the river, then Skarner probably would have a bigger lead than he does now. I think Skarner's obviously going to go for a full clear. He should go for a full clear since he doesn't even have Impale to look for an engage with. He should go for a full clear and taking that Rift Herald solo, and then probably drop that mid or top. He could drop it bot if they want to make a bot lane play, but seeing as neither team has like TPs available, except for the Toucan, going for a bot lane play isn't optimal, so we'll probably do that and then look for to drop it in the top or mid lane, open up the map more, and just keep pushing the tempo. And then they could even try and look to use this Drake again as a bait to fight if they want to, but I don't think they will, or they shouldn't. Hmm. There seems to be correlation to every single time I drink water, my nose gets clear. Something's up. So, pause. Because once again, Veigar is going to go top lane to try and help out Ornn, which I like the idea because you need to find some sort of way to mitigate the tempo and the gold advantage that Yogurt has accrued for themselves. They're sitting about 1.2 thousand gold, 1.2k gold. They have a momentum advantage. Skarner is already clearing out his Krugs and will go to red before Sejuani's red is even back up. So he'll have red buff and probably look to make another play. However, this time it's not going to work as well, I don't think, because well, they might even get a kill onto Colbox. Vladimir is already roaming down because last time, if you remember last time this happened, Veigar was able to push in the lane because Vladimir had recalled and was able to push and then roam up. And this time they roamed on even footing. So through extrapolation, I think Weenie Jr. is like, okay, I think he's going top, or at least he's roaming. I'm going to roam where I think he's going to go, which might be bot lane because the bot lane is pushed in as well. But a roam to equal a roam is still just as good as any. And they're both roaming to the side of the jungle that their jungler is in. So it makes a lot of sense. So it just depends on who's going to actually go for a play and who's going to have to back off. Almost like it's almost like they're calling each other's bluff. Like, okay, you're going to roam, I'm going to roam. Who's going to actually follow through on a play and who's actually just going to back off because they think that there's nothing there. And whoever can win that kind of stare down and get something out of it. If it's Yule Good, they're going to push their tempo advantage. If it's Flame Out of Love, they're going to continue to stall out this game and scale up, and maybe even get some of that gold back that they lost. So accordingly, the pings come out, and Kobox retreats, knowing that okay, Veigar's gone, and last time he left, he went top lane, so I'm going to back away. Vladimir decides to go and clear vision instead. His bot lane is too far pushed up, so he can't look for a gank, so he clears vision. Takes some poke on his way back in the lane. Actually might get ganked here. He will get ganked. Yeah, he has flash though, so he should be able to escape this pretty easily. He waits for the charge. Yeah, he'll be fine. They're not gonna follow through, so he'll be fine. He's not gonna lose anything off it. He'll just be able to sustain back up, so he'll be okay. Now they know where Sejuani is. Skarner's gonna be there. He drops control ward. He might try and start this dragon up by himself. I don't know how good Skarner's, soloing of drag is this early in the game, but if he can solo Rift Herald by himself, he might be able to solo the drag too. At the very least, he's gonna try and put vision down onto Drake and then roam up and get vision into the enemy blue side. Ornn has pushed in and also roaming down, so they're gonna try and do a 3-man regank here and kill Weenie Hut Jr. and get mid lane priority, and they can kill him and get mid lane priority, then they can just reclaim all that vision to even possibly take Rift Herald or take the Drake. It's going to be hard because Weenie Jr. still has Flash. I think Sanguine Pool will come off cooldown in 5 seconds, so it's going to be really hard to do. If they can chain it well enough, then they can do it. It depends on if he disrespects them and doesn't use Flash early like he did last time. But I think, yeah, he's just going to use... Oh, he gets hit? Yeah, he's dead. So we're gonna go back and look at that one more time because I don't think this time he could have done much. He dodges any stun from that. He flashed the initial charge, but Bad Fizz just throws the Glacial Prison. And if he didn't if he had tried to take the charge to the face and then flash, he probably still gets hit by the full rotation of Veigar and still dies anyways. So I think the only thing he could have done is try to. You have to rely on an outplay and just hope he, as soon as he hits flash, he goes in the Sanguine Pool and just try and go for the C and then goes right in the Sanguine Pool and then he'll dodge the Glacial Prison and be able to walk out. But instead, he actually turns around. Oh, unfortunate. BLH, they must have called for a re-engage. They didn't see Ornn roaming down. Ornn wasn't even a factor though. I just think they underestimated Veigar's damage going into this, and they thought they could turn it around, but BLH was still too far away. I don't think they accounted for the Glacial Prison cooldown. No one pinged it out. No one talked about it, so they didn't know that Sejuani had it. So he thought that he could dodge all of this and then just come back in and re-engage with Skarner and probably look for a kill. But instead, he gets hit in the face with a Glacial Prison, gets murdered, BLH looks stupid running in. He'll be able to escape, but like we said, that gives them mid lane priority. They can push in, and because they don't have bot lane priority, I don't know if they can try and go for this objective straight up because well, they might be able to. Cho'Gath didn't roam down. He'd have to recall and then run to Dragon Pit to try and help contest, and it would be a 3v4 off the rip, which I don't think Yulgood is far enough ahead to win right now. So they have a lot of options. They can push in, get vision on drag, then go for Rift Herald, or vice versa, and get some deep vision on Skarner's jungle. Look for an objective somewhere to take with this momentum. But I think that was just an unfortunate play for Weenie Hut Jr. and for Yulgood. Sorry, I'm picking my nose on stream. Oh, they're gonna look for a play on the Toucan actually. It is actually good. Good response from the side of good response from the side of Flame of not Flame of Yulgood. I was so busy looking at the rest of the minimap I didn't even see Jin and Alistar roaming up here. And so look for this play. Toucan, and I think this is where Flame I Love messes up. They don't stick around to help Toucan. They don't anticipate a possible counter gank from the bot lane that has just disappeared, and I don't even think their bot lane like pings it. Let's see. Like they leave all the way back at about 13, 17. So they leave, and yeah, you have comms, but a lot of times, in a team environment, when you have 3 people fighting, you can have 2 people screaming at them that the bot lane for Yulgood is roaming up, and they might even hear, they might just not comprehend. So they might even be screaming right now, hey, they're roaming up, bot lane's MIA, bot lane's MIA. But that's why you ping, because the first thing that most people, players, just because they've been playing League so long, will react to is hearing pings. And like, what was that? What's going on? Instead of hearing people just randomly yell at them or say, hey, their bot lane's roaming up, their bot lane's roaming up. Be careful. So they don't ping out. So Bad Fizz and Coco think, okay, we found a trade. We're gonna go back to our jungle and do whatever. Which I think, if they knew that the bot lane was roaming up or was at least MIA, they stick around and help Toucan push out because they know, okay, they could look for a regank. Skarner has his ultimate. He also has Predator, and then the bot lane's roaming up, so they could try and look for an engage onto our mid laner and try and look for a trade to nullify the advantage we just gained in mid lane. Doesn't happen. So as soon as Coco and Bad Fizz disappear, BLH goes back in, gets slowed down long enough, and doesn't get caught by the event horizon on the pullback, pulls them in, bing, bam, bop. And so any lane advantage they might just gain gets nullified. And now, Yulgood is the team that can look for a neutral objective if they want to after pushing in this lane. Because Winnie Hut Jr. will be back up before the Toucan ever can be. Even though he doesn't have TP, he can respond a lot faster than the Toucan can if they decide to make a play. Because the Toucan will have to immediately TP, and even then, the play might be already happening before he can come back. They're going to go back to lane and push the lane back out first in bot lane, and then I think they're going to look for this dragon after claiming vision. Oh yeah, and now that Ezreal has that arcane shift and building kick has taunted out any chance of possibly looking for a play bot lane. And just look at, and you can see Bad Fizz all the way up near his red buff anyways. Coco doesn't have TP, so they're not even going to look to contest this dragon. This dragon should be Yulgood's. If Flame Out Love want to do something to contest this, they could either look to push in Cho'Gath, look for a gank just to push him in and force him out of lane, and then try and take Rift Herald in response. So, whether that, there's not much they can do. Just miscommunication. Like you have to ping and tell people when people are missing. You can't just say, hey, they're missing, hey, they're missing, hey, they're missing. Because I've had so many times in the team environment where either I'm playing in a 5v5 or I've been coaching where I hear in comms that I hear teammates say, hey, they're going MIA, they're missing, but the person that's embroiled in the action going on in that lane just doesn't hear you because they're so caught up in focusing on that in that team fight that they don't comprehend what you're saying until after the fact they're dead and like, oh yeah, I heard that, I just didn't think about it. So you have to ping and you have to tell them. So that's all comes down to miscoms. And now that's going to give over a free Mountain Drake. So now, I guess the good news for Latucan is he got a free back in the sense of dying. He has his Luden's Echo. He's returning to lane, so he should have some sort of ability to pressure Weenie Hut Jr. out of lane right now, since he has the item advantage. But overall, this is not looking too good for the side of Flame Out of Love, because they haven't been able to fully even out the gold. They're almost down 2k gold right now. Tempo advantage is clearly in Yulgood's favor, and you just have to find a way to slow down this game. Whether it's find a play of your own. Really, the best way you always slow down the game is good vision control, because then Skarner can't look for the picks he wants, and even if they go for a dive on a turret, if you have good enough vision, you can predict it, back away. Yes, they get the first turret gold, but at least they don't get any kills, which allows them to do extra things on the map. And even better, if you can predict where they're going, you have enough members on that side of the map, you can try and contest that and stop them from doing that. So that's the only real way you can really slow this down right now, from a practical standpoint, is get some vision control in the river, which up until this point, Bad Fizz has been doing a pretty good job of, but now I think it's a little bit too dangerous for him to roam into river like that, because now that Yulgood has priority in almost every single lane, pushing wise, Skarner can just be as aggro as he wants to be, and it'll be Yulgood that'll be the first to collapse onto Flame Out of Love. So it's going to be really hard for him to keep that vision control, at least in the river. He'll probably be able to keep his own vision control in his own jungle, which is actually what you want right here. You already see that they have 2 wards in their tri-bush, just already ready for a possible dive, because Skarner is on the. They know Skarner is still somewhere on the bot side of the map. They have a ward right there, so they're still trying to keep their vision control, because it helps them stall out the game, prevents dives, helps them counter dives, and that, and of the like. But um, they're gonna have to keep that up, and it can be really hard to keep that up, because one spot of bad vision equals a one team fight, and just the game snowballing out of control. And it can be the Sejuani or the Shin going to go refresh vision where they already had it. But as soon as that goes dark, if there's someone waiting in there for you and you go for that, then you could automatically be dead with one impale, one headbutt pulverize, what have you. So you just have to be so careful right now, because you're sitting on the ledge between a fire and safety with vision control. You never want to fully rely on vision control to help you stall out a game. You want to always have at least vision control plus one lane winning, which will draw pressure and force the other team to not focus on the lanes they're losing. And right now, Flame Out of Love just doesn't have that. All the lanes are behind in items. Vladimir will probably back soon and buy his Hextech Proto Belt, so he won't be behind in items to Vigor for long. So it won't take him an extremely long amount of time to catch back up with Vigor item-wise. He has a CS lead already. He's down 2 kills, but the 2 assists plus the CS lead kind of helps him with that. And so they don't really have any push priority in any lanes right now to therefore take some of that pressure off the lanes that are already losing. And then that also helps you get better vision when the enemy team has to focus on that lane that has pressure. You can roam into the parts of the map where the enemy team is not, obviously, and get vision down, so you can continue to at least go even in the vision war. We're going to continue this VOD. I think I pause sometimes prolonged to talk when I don't have to, but the way Gold Plat works, it could be nonstop action. You don't want to like unpause and while you're talking about stuff, have something else go down. So yep. I don't care. I don't care what he tweeted. Oh Jesus Christ. So see, now the pings are coming out. That the bot lanes are missing. Although they just back, but Jin already has his Essence Reaver compared to Ezreal's not even fully complete Trinity Force. And oh my god. Okay. Well, there goes that. And there goes that. Oh my god. All that damage. So, despite the fact that I sound really stuffy, I don't know why. I have a window open and everything, but so what just happened there was As you can obviously see, building kick, try to look for a taunt, and I think he thought he had enough range. Going all the way back, right here. I want to say he thought he had enough range to get the original taunt, but Tim the Tank had a good reaction, sidestepped it, and now that just opens him up to so much damage. So yeah, they do land some back poke, but then all it takes is one auto attack and a deadly flourish, and he's stuck there. IWDQ follows up, and they effectively blast him so hard that not only do they get the heal from Hunter, they get the flash from Building Kick, and now he's effectively useless for the rest of this time in laning phase until he gets time to back. Even the sustain, like he has a health pot, so that'll help, but I don't think even the sustain from Adoring Shield will help him out in this regard. And I think in that situation, you just have to try and blow the taunt flash. Like if you're gonna go in for an engage that risky, where you know you'll get severely, or you should know you'll get severely punished for it if you miss or mess up. Especially because Sejuani wasn't there at the initial start of the play. You have to go for the guaranteed play because if you miss that play, as you saw, you get punished for it. And now, not only does that affect your lane, but now Sejuani has to stay down here to make sure they don't re-aggress on you, which gives Skarner the ability to just roam up, and now he's gonna finally be able to get that tempo advantage that he wanted and start taking camps and starving her a farm. He's already up 10 CS now. He's gonna go ahead and take her Raptors, go up another 4, take Scuttle Crab, probably take Rift Herald as well. He's gonna take this entire quadrant of the jungle right now because you made that play, and now Sejuani has to kind of sit down here and baby you because she doesn't sit down here. They go in for another 2v2, and Shin's dead. They have bot lane push. They can push out and take this turret, and they just get maximum efficiency for this because then if they kill these two, or at least even kill one of them, they take turret, get that 400 gold first brick. Sejuani's still down here, so he can still invade and try and look for this. He might not fully invade interactive, but he still gets the Rift Scuttler and also goes for Rift Herald. And they also get this top lane turret, which might be going down right now. So because of that one play, they just succeeded so much tempo advantage to the side of Yulgood because of that botched engage by Building Kick. So now she's going to finally roam up, start clearing vision. But now, I mean, the damage is done now. He's going to recall as well. He does have Unsealed Spellbook, so he can try and swap out maybe for an Exhaust. And he does have Stand United, so he can join from base if a fight happens. But if you're Yulgood, you're not even going to try and look to fight right now. You're just going to keep trying to push this tempo advantage. Fighting is kind of dumb. So I think he wasted a lot of time here looking for this camp, but to his credit, Kobox didn't try and help aggressively deep ward even with the push, which I think is something I've neglected to sort of reprimand Kobox for. Is if you have such a push advantage on the Ornn, you need to be helping your jungler get deep vision. You could have gotten deep vision on the Krugs or even on the red buff earlier and prevented him from going and checking both of these camps, and instead he either comes and helps you take this tower sooner or goes for Rift Herald after taking Raptors. So that stalls him out a bit. He's going to actually look for a play on the Coco right here. But I think he's just trying to stall him from getting to turret right now. Nope, they're actually going to try and fight. TP comes in. I don't like this move, but we'll see how it works out. Building Kick just cannot land a taunt to save his life. And this is why I'm not a fan also of Hextech Flash on anybody except for Alistar, because Alistar is the only support, in my opinion, who, well, I guess Blitzcrank if you can time your buttons right, and, you know, hook supports, but in my opinion, Alistar is the most effective at using the Hex Flash because you can Hex Flash and immediately headbutt Pulverize, whereas if you're Building Kick, you can't, you can't immediately activate the taunt after Hex Flash. There's still that small second of delay which allowed the Cho'Gath to walk away. Before this play happens, let's go back and watch the last one because I don't like this play from BLH and Colbox because because yeah, I like him pressuring Coco off the turret so that Cho'Gath can get turret damage, and maybe you go join Cho'Gath and try and kill the turret. But going in for a full engage instead of going for the turret means that he pulls him in right, and then they immediately start taking turret damage. Once again, they underestimate Ornn's ability to survive, and he has flash as well. So he flashes any other CC from Coalbox, calls the Call of the Forge God, and almost gets a kill here on the back end of it when he knocks in BLH. Unfortunately, Building Kick, not only did he waste his Hex Flash when he was like a good few hundred, not hundred, but you know what I mean, hyperbole, a good few hundred units away from either Coalbox and BLH. So the taunt can't come through. They can't find the kill, but that's a lot of tempo advantage just wasted right here. We're gonna see what IWQ is doing because he's actually roaming up to mid, I think. While his action's happening, I don't know if they pinged out Sejuani. Yeah, they pinged out Sejuani because they saw Sejuani in the bush, so they know she's there. He's gonna go ahead and roam with her almost. They know where she's heading. They assume she's heading through this jungle corridor right here, which is not a bad assumption to make. And in fact, he basically took the shortest path in a straight line to where she's gonna eventually end up anyways because she can't go through there, so she's gonna end up here anyway. So he runs through here, and he's gonna catch her as she's going to go lay down vision and try and run. And so they find Sejuani. I don't think this will be. Oh, this might be a kill. No, she has flash, but they get her flash out. So once again, another key summoner down for the side of Flame I Love. Now they have 3 flashes down, a TP down, because the Shin switched to TP, and once again they have some semblance of tempo advantage and objective control, even though they wasted a whole bunch of tempo in top lane because Sejuani gets caught out deep warding right there and has the waste flash. She can't really do much else as far as trying to get tempo back for her team. Now all she can do is go back and try and farm. He's already taken her Raptors. She has Krugs up, but that's about it. So mistakes from both sides. Luckily for Yo Good, Flame Out of Love just didn't punish hard enough. So once again, he'll be able to sustain in mid lane. So Flame Out of Love is not doing a good job punishing as well as making some poor decision making in some of their macro. And in once he like Yo Good again, like making some plays that might be a little bit disrespectful, but because they're just better at least most of the positions mechanically than their opponents, they're able to sustain through it and deal with it. It doesn't matter. And actually, I'm surprised that Vladimir went for the Zonias for the safety of Zonias. I'm guessing that he's afraid of Latucan being able to blow him up with the ultimate, so he's trying to prevent that by being able to Zonias if he gets engaged on it again. Which I mean, he's been engaged on twice, so I know that's affecting his mental. That's something that bad fizz kudos to him for affecting the enemy mid laner's mental so much that he builds a Zonias instead of going for the more advantageous Hextech Protobelt item in team fights and for damage and cooldowns. So that's going to delay his build a little bit and give Viger some power in lane. So that's nice. But everywhere else, though, advantages are clearly in favor of the side of Yulgood. And they're only up 1.6k gold at 18 minutes. But, all it's going to take right now is one team fight for them to, translate this over. I do see Ornn did go Spirit Visage. He doesn't have any innate healing in his kit, I don't think. I think he might have a little bit of healing on the Bell's Breath. But regardless, it's going to give him some magic resist to deal with the Vladimir, as well as dealing with the Cho'Gath poke. So it's more of like a lane item. I think if he wanted to be more teamfight oriented, he would have gone for the Abyssal Mask first. But he's going for an item that should help him in lane, because he's falling so far behind in lane right now, it's not even funny. So, to each his own. To each his own. That crit. Nani? Oh boy. Alright, so again, You're good. It's being downright disrespectful right here. Um. Uh-oh. Sorry, I had to look at work stuff. But anyways, yeah. So another case of okay, Yoga just being a little bit disrespectful here. Um, geez, am I gonna get this done before I have to go to work? I don't know. But yeah. So they go in for the engage underneath turret against the Shin, who now at least has his Spirit's Refuge. So they get some massive damage on, but they're not gonna kill him. And they don't kill him. He doesn't have a flash, but he still has taunt. So if this TP is successful, Call of the Forge God is gone. Well, just a flank alone with nobody being in range to help. And this could be a flank from both. I don't think Veigar challenged TP, but Veigar could join this very quickly as well. And depending on what member joins the fray from Yulgood, this could turn out very good for Flame Out of Love. I don't think they're going to innately have the advantage because IWQ is still pretty tanky. And I believe he has ultimate as well after this. But if they can get an engage on a Timmy the Tank who will run right into Ornn on this teleport, they don't really have a lot of help from Skarner right now. He's going to like Blast Cone and then Predator over to try and help out. So this could work out for the side of Flame Out of Love. And if it does, then this is just another, you know, sign of, disrespect and a little bit of greed from the side of, okay, you're good. But, okay, he comes over. Who used their TP? It was Cho'Gath. So, William Hunt Jr. decides to save his TP. Actually, Cho'Gath gets interrupted. Oh, that's not good. I don't know if he got interrupted or if, no, I think he canceled the TP. Yeah, both sides canceled the TP. I think that's smart of Coco to use the TP to dissuade and engage. And it was smart of Kobach to use his TP to try and dissuade Coco from finishing his TP. They're going to get first turret off of this, though. Just eventually the push becoming too great for them to contest with. So this will open up the map even more for Good. So both teams trading TPs. I think Veigar also, Veigar challenged his TP as well. So that's two TPs down for the side of Flame Out Love. I don't like the use of the TP from Veigar. I think you wait to TP. You wait to see if Coco finishes his TP first. And then you're like, okay, so my top laner is going down there. I'm going to go down there as well to give a number advantage. And then at least you might make Weenie Hut Jr. waste his TP as well. But instead, now Veigar has to come down to the bot lane, which gives Weenie Hut Jr. a lot of time on that mid lane turret to take that as well. They're going to get first brick. They're going to push in the mid lane. And they're not going to have push in top lane, but Cho'Gath should be able to even out that wave and then push back. So they could possibly get 3 turrets in the span of like 5 minutes in quick succession here. Yeah, they're roaming down. All right, so I don't think that Flame Out Love should fight for this. I don't think they should. I think Ezreal clearing the wave is their best bet to stop this turret from going down, but I don't think they should fight this unless BLH sticks around or you'll good look for their own fight. And that's what they're gonna do. Good, good, because they just don't have the power to fight that. Especially if they try and chase up. They tried to chase. Timmy the Tank cleanses, flash. Oh no, IWDQ. Oh, okay, he uses ult to survive. So, all right. So that's another reason why I decided I don't think they should take that fight because there are still too many defensive summoners up for the side of Yield Good to make anything to capitalize on that. There's no neutral objectives in the bot lane to take. Weenie Hut Jr. is going to roam down and join this fight. None of the key members on the side of Yield Good are too low to try and re-engage. I think IWQ can even still re-engage. He can sacrifice his life if he has to just to get a nice knockup. And I think all they did was blow some defensive summoners from the side of Yulgood, but it didn't net them an advantage for what they gave for it. They wasted the Glacial Prison. Latucan flashed as well, trying to get the Event Horizon. Didn't hit anything. The heal is gone from Hunter, and Sejuani doesn't have her flash either. She has Smite, and they don't have Coco to join them. So now, if they stick around too long, it's just going to be Weenie Hut Jr. collapsing on them, and it could be another one team fight for the side of Yule Good. Let's see how it plays out. Yeah, they're gonna stick around. They're gonna stick around. Oh yeah, he's gonna die. I think he's dead right here. They popped the Shin ultimate, but they pulled Toucan back in. Yep. And I think on that one right there, Kick had to take that last shot. He has to die for his jungler sins. Oh, BLH, buddy. So eventually Cho'Gath's going to take this turret. I think Toucan's doing his best to stall this out, but eventually he's just going to get outpushed and he'll have to run away. He can't get killed by Jin in this situation. I think uh, building kick. Oh yeah, see he stayed too long. Yeah, he should just backed away with the rest of his team. I mean, simple as that. Anyone could see. You just don't stay there. You can't afford to because your team has backed away. Building kick had to recall, and he didn't have Stand United. I think he should have sacrificed his own life for bad fizz. In fact, I think he might have been taking enough to take that 4 shot and still taunt or flash over the wall and get away. Instead, he leaves jungler to die. So the tankiest member on their team, he leaves to die. So that means they can't stay for that turret, and therefore, or they shouldn't stay for that turret. And then Latucan did his best to stall it out, but I mean, he just should have given it up. It wasn't gonna. There was nothing he could do about that. They take the turret in top lane as well, so that's even more tempo going their way. Gold lead has expanded. And now Vladimir, because Toucan died in the bottom lane, sticking around, should be able to also take this mid lane turret in one more wave. So they just gave up all the gold and tempo to the side of Yulgud. All that win condition nonsense about you gotta stall them out until you hit your power spikes, and then maybe you can look for a fight with the Orange, Sejuani, and Shin engaged, and Toucan blowing someone up. Now that's all out the window. Because they just didn't give it up. The Jin's gonna come back after getting that kill. He should be able to, if not finish a full Zeal item, get close enough to get Zeal itself and just do even more damage. Ezreal has had to go for. He had to sell all of his Trinity Force items, which I don't agree with. You never want to go back on an item. I learned that a long time ago. Is if you start building an item, especially when you get close to finishing an item, don't sell its components and buy something else. Just finish that item. And you could have just bit the bullet and gone for the Iceborne Gauntlet next. But you just want to finish that item. Like Blue Ezreal is right for the situation. They're so far behind, but you're already going down that path. You just delayed yourself even more. So I wonder how long ago he sold all those items before, because that would make more sense why he has done so little damage when he sells all his items for the Trinity Force to go try and rebuild an Iceborne Gauntlet. Either way, it puts him extremely far behind this Jin now, farther than he was before. Once Weenie Jr. has this turret taken, he's going to go back, probably finish his Hex Tech Proto Belt, and Cho'Gath and Skarner is going to keep building tank. Cho'Gath should be able to recall and finish what I would assume to be a not banner command, maybe a Warmogs. There are a lot of items that build out of Targon's brace, not Targon's brace, but the brace thing. So it could be a could be it's not a Warmogs. Banner command, that's what that is, I think. No, because banner builds out of locket, so I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, they're gonna have 2 items up at the very least to their opponent's 1 in all the lanes. Baron is spawning. They'll have objective control over Baron because of Cho'Gath. The next Drake is spawning, which I never look at this thing because it's not like LCS where it will tell you what each different type of Drake is. And since we're not in the spectator ourselves, we can't check it. But they'll have 2 neutral objectives to play around. They have all this vision right here. They're gonna probably transfer that. If this isn't a Drake that they're willing to like put a lot of resources into taking, they'll transfer all their vision up to the side of the map, take control of Baron Pit, and then if I'm them, as soon as I can, I start the Baron because you know you have the team fighting power. And unless like the only thing you have to worry about is maybe if Baron comes up by the time Coco gets Call of the Forge God, you have to worry about Call of the Forge God coming through and hitting your entire team, giving an avenue for Bad Fizz to maybe hit a Glacial Prison or Building Kick to hit a taunt. But otherwise, if that's not what you're concerned about, if you can position well enough so that that doesn't happen, which means that your team probably have to position tanks up here, bottom lane, or carries somewhere in the back, closer to, either this jungle exit or this jungle exit, depending on what side Ornn is on. If you can do that, then you have all this Baron control with Cho'Gath, and that should be the next thing you fight for. And just force this heavily. Get vision around it, starve them of their jungle, take your own jungle if you need it, and just force this, because they cannot fight you right now. Veigar, he doesn't have his second item to blow anyone up with. He has Ludens, but if you build enough magic resist, which they have a plenty good amount of team-wide magic resist with the Abyssal Mask, I think. And Jhin doesn't even need to get close enough to Veigar anyways to get in range of the full rotation. He'll be pretty safe. He can just zone as anything that they throw at him. So you can fight this easily and not be afraid of Flame Out of Love. So eat more Kit Kat. It looks like they're gonna go for that Drake. So it has to be a pretty important Drake, maybe a Fire Drake. So you saw him pinging it out. And Cho'Gath recalled. Almost a Cloud Drake. But Cloud Drake is pretty important now that it gives in-combat movement speed. So, and it's a less risky objective to play around, because you lose a fight and give up Cloud Drake, it's not that bad. And then the respawn timers are so low at this stage in the game that you can probably respawn in time to contest a Baron, because Flame Out Love doesn't take a Baron fast enough for you to be worried about, oh, if we die, they're going to burn down a Baron. They don't do it. You have the Mountain Drake. Might as well take this. And they can still transition up to Baron if they want. Looks like Flame Out Love's going to want to fight this, though. Which they shouldn't be. Didn't mean to do that. I want to point something out after I finish gorging myself on the Kit Kat. I want to point out, just look at the setup from Flame of My Love as they approach this, and how poorly they approach it. So if you're going to approach a dragon fight that you know you might not win, and you're just looking to maybe look for an avenue in to steal or find a pick, your bot lane shouldn't be on this side, while the rest of your team, including your only tank on this side of the map, is over here. Like, Veigar's right here, he's exposed. Bad Fizz still isn't tanky enough to take any damage, so he's not going to want to sit there and tank up for them. They do stall them out with the Event Horizon, but then Jhin is strong enough right now, and the way Building Kick hasn't been able to hit a single taunt so far this game, it feels. Jhin is strong enough where he's literally just going to sit here and 1v2 them, while the rest of Yilgood goes and aggresses right here. And at this point, when you're separated like this, the only thing you can hope for is maybe a TP from Ornn onto this ward right here, and then maybe a Call of the Forge God flank. But even that's a lot to ask, because he's going to have to deal with Vladimir, and while Vladimir can't interrupt him, Vladimir can certainly chunk him down to where when he's entering a fight, he's not going to be that high health. Although he does have Spirit Vista, so he might be able to sustain some of that. We'll have to see. Just my 2 cents. So they do stall it out pretty well. But they already see Jin's 1v2ing on that side. They knock him up, pull him back in. So Veigar should be dead with 1 feast. Actually, IWQ steals the kill. And Coco doesn't even have enough time to try and TP down. It happens so fast. He doesn't even have enough time to channel his TP to try and find the fight. And just because of the way they set that up, and maybe in a positive world, they go at that S5 running down the same jungle entrance, they have enough time to stall it out to where if they can't find the pick or find something positive, they can at least retreat without losing a member. Because all Skarner does in that situation, he might impale Bad Fizz, and then Bad Fizz can try and dash over the wall and out. And the rest of his backline escapes. Instead, they lose the Toucan. Coco can't join. Weenie Hut Jr. can match his push in the top lane, I believe. Or I think he can. Yeah, he can match with like he won't kill Coco by no stretch of the imagination. I don't even know why he's even taking this fight. Why are you taking this fight? He has a spirit visage, you bonobo, and a whole bunch of health. He might kill him right here. He might here. Sorry for picking my nose again, guys. Yeah, he might kill him right here. No, he has enough sustain. So now they're gonna push mid because Toucan isn't there. Ezreal's too weak. So Flame Out of Love can't fight this. Not right now, anyways. Because if Ornn goes to TP, then Weenie Hut Jr. matches his TP, and it's still a numbers disadvantage for them, and they lose the fight anyways because they're not strong enough. So Yule Good, they can stay here if they want to. Vigor is up in 4 and can TP in, so they have to be careful with this push. Because if they overstay, they can get TP'd on and wiped if they stay near a turret. That's the last thing you want to do is hover under someone's turret. Because for teams that are behind, that's a godsend. Because if they can engage on you and trap you in an area where you can do, where they can take turret damage, then that's their number one ticket into winning a team fight. So they're not going to stick around. They do the smart thing. They go clear jungle, take red, get some vision down around Baron, and just I think they're just going to recall, and just reset. I like sending Jin mid because he gets to get a lot of free safe farm as long as he doesn't walk up and like an idiot, get stunned. He should be fine. And like I said before, clear your own jungle, put vision in theirs, and then walk away. Although they didn't do a good job of clearing vision, I don't think. They stole buffs, but they didn't do a good job of clearing vision. You notice that every single time they recall, only one person's buying a control ward, and that's Alistar, which is definitely wrong. You should always, everyone, when you recall, you should always provision gold for at least one control ward, because that's how you win vision wars. Especially when you're ahead. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't be ahead. If you're ahead, you shouldn't just have enough gold to, save 75 of it for a control ward. Regardless, though, they will push in, and they're probably going to push in and just get ready to start this Baron. The good news for Flame I Love, they do have enough vision on top of it, and they do have all the TPs at their disposal to possibly contest. So it could look for a fight at the Baron, but it looks like Yulgood's going to push for this turret first. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. BLH. Dead. I don't know why he's looking for this fight. So you see the setup before the fight, right? He's sitting in the bush. He's popping Predator. He's getting ready to go in. But once again, and I was just pointing out vision. And because he doesn't have vision of any kind up here in this upper quadrant, he can't tell who's here and who's not besides the 4 that are there. And when you have your Cho'Gath split pushing and your Vladimir split pushing, they both have TP, yes, but you can't take a 3v4 under the enemy turret. Especially when you go in and you flash in to an event horizon and you're not going the spellbook. You're not going spellbook scanner, so you're taking stuns every single time you go in. So he flashed in without team. He does get the glacial prison, but that doesn't really matter when he basically just sacrifices his life for no reason. He does get a pull, but I mean, at that point you're dead. Like, it doesn't even matter. So that was a dumb play by BLH. I'm just gonna call it was a dumb play. Looking for that fight when you don't have a numbers advantage because you have 2 of your members split pushing, and on top of that, instead of just turning around and pulling a hard drift and hitting the e-brake out, he goes and flashes in trying to find something, just flashes into the middle of all of Flame Out of Love and dies. And now IWQ could be killed because of this. He does flash out. They do escape. Oh my god. Don't get flashed on and killed here, mate. Please. Don't get flashed on and killed. See, the camera's on the wrong part of the map. But they almost die there from sticking around too long. And Timmy the Tank is still here. I wouldn't be surprised if I were Vigor. I'd just wait around a corner somewhere, wait for him to push up, and then just like flash, blow him up with my ultimate. But just because of that one death by Skarner, that stalls everything that Good wants to do. Because even though they have a lead, they have to still play through BLH finding a good pick. Because Alistar goes in, and while he's not super squishy, his team doesn't have a ton of good follow-up. Well, I won't say that. They have a lot of good follow-up, but you can obviously tell that they're waiting for a BLH to make that engage with the Impale. It'd be a different story if they weren't. If they were just like, okay, if any of our engage tools goes in and engages, we'll follow up. But you can obviously tell their game plan is to wait for VLH to run in there with the impale, grab somebody, and pull them into us instead of having Alistar going first and then look for an impale afterwards, or look for some sort of knockup from Coldbox or an Alistar first. And so when you waste that win condition that you're playing so heavily around, you can't do anything else. And so Timmy the Tank and IWQ had to retreat, and IWQ wasted both his summoners doing so and his ultimate. So that completely stalls out the push you had in the mid lane, and therefore the rest of your laners in Colbox and Weenie Hut Jr. had to back as well because you didn't lay down a ton of good vision across the top side of the enemy team's map. And let's make no mistake, I mean, you have 2 yellow trinkets, so that's 4 wards. That's the 4 wards right here. And if everyone buys at least one control ward, you can control ward 5 positions inside the enemy jungle that give you pretty good vision around all this area. But because they don't do that, Cho'Gath and Vladimir had to back out because they can't see anything in here. Cho'Gath backs off because he can't see right here, and they could still recall and try and kill him under turret if he's pushed up right here. And for Vlad, you definitely have to back up because you just don't have any vision in this area of the jungle. You can't stay here. You don't know what's here. So he just stalled out his entire team's push just for making one stupid play. So, and now Veigar has double buffs. He also got the Morel Nomicon for Magic Pin. So now that also gives Flame Out Love some time to catch up on items. While Orange still doesn't have a completed second item, the Sejuani now has her Locket, so she's a little bit tankier. With her Cinder Hulk, Veigar's on 2 items. Ezreal still not super strong, but does have his Mana Mune finally fully stacked, so he'll still be able to do a good amount of poke damage. And the banner. So now, basically, what I'm trying to say is their tanks outside of Ornn are now pretty tanky. And Ornn's already pretty innately tanky. So the tanks are now tanky enough to take a team fight. The Ezreal now does decent damage. And Veigar does a lot of magic pin damage and poke. So he's going to be able to land a lot of DPS. And now he's at a point where he can possibly blow up a carry if they walk too close. So, again, from that one play, he just gave them a lot of gold back, and he stalled out his team's push and tempo advantage. And now they can roam down, get vision control around Baron, and basically prevent that objective from being taken for free and prevent them from having to face check the objective and therefore possibly give a team fight win over to OK You'll Good. So, nice job, BLH. Good job. You're a great guy. So now, if you're Flame Out of Love, you're going to keep Ornn in the sideline because now he has his full faculty of his full complement of summoner spells and ultimates, so he can join a fight and affect the team fight when he gets there. Your team's team fighting ultimates are almost back up. They're just waiting for the glacial prison. But now, more importantly, you're not really afraid of You'll Good as long as your team positions correctly behind their front line. None of your none of your carries position incorrectly in a team fight. You're not really afraid of what You'll Good has to offer. You just have to make sure your positioning is good because if BLH can find a way to grab a carry and pull them in, you'll still lose. But otherwise, IWQ, unless he can find a flank, shouldn't be able to find an easy way into your backline to knock up your backline. BLH shouldn't be able to find an easy way into your backline because he doesn't have spellbook and cleanse, so he can't just run up into your backline, pull somebody in. And Kobox is just there for objective control and the occasional knockup, and also to feast and get the execute. Winnie Hut Jr. is pushing on the bomb side of the map, but if needed to, Latucan can just roam down there, clear, and still TP back to a fight. So they're just going to look for vision control right now. And Coldbox is going to go in, but I think the response from Flame Out of Love should be good enough to where it won't matter. But, well, never mind. Hunter decided to Arcane shift away from his team. And that's single-handedly how any good thing that you've gotten, you throw it away to the wind. So instead of Arcane shifting into his team, which would then be like, okay, so yeah, IWQ might get the headbutt pulverize on top of you, but you can at least still heal and get that extra movement speed, heal up any damage Cho'Gath does, and still be able to run up toward Ornn. Instead of doing that, he flashes over the wall. I mean, he blinks over the wall, thinking that he has enough mobility to run away, but Kobox has popped his Righteous Glory, so you're not getting away from this Cho'Gath anytime soon. So he just gets run down and summarily killed after the root. So that's the thing. Yeah. And just in the same way that BLH threw away the tempo advantage for his team, that throws away any chance that they have of contesting this Baron, because while Toucan can possibly look for an Event Horizon into an ultimate, he has to get close enough to do that to where BLH with an Impale can just Predator in and pull him into the team. Unless BLH is an idiot and takes a lot of poke damage over the wall, which he shouldn't. So now they're going to have to look for a straight up steal. I don't even think Coco's going to try and contest this. No, he recalls. He might look for a TP in. And Weenie Hut Jr. isn't there, but Weenie Hut Jr. also has his TP. He can TP in, make it a numbers disadvantage, and basically turn the fight in their favor, which I think is going to happen. They shouldn't be in a position to steal right now. They don't have Feast, though, so it could be close. It could be pretty close. They're going to have to try and keep Sejuani out of the pit, which I don't think they can confidently do. They actually get flashes out from Ornn and Toucan and a re-engage. Ooh, nice stun, but it won't matter. Yeah, it won't matter. And now all that's left is tanks, so there's not much you can do with tanks. Winya Jr., as predicted, just TP'd in to join the fight. Also, as predicted, BLH just pulls in just easily. They dodged the initial engage from the side of Flame Out Low, which looked good until they didn't hit anything because there are still too many summoners left up for the side of Yule Good, so they just flashed away and ran away. Jin didn't even have to use Cleanse there, and then BLH just came right back into the re-engage, grabs the Toucan, and bop. And now you don't have any frontline, and now you don't have any damage, so it's just your frontline fighting, and they're eventually going to go down. So, yeah. So, alarm clock. So, holy cow, CompeteLeague. So now they can still try and look for a steal. However, I mean, look at all that zoning pressure. Oh my god, he's not dead yet, but he might as well be. Did he pop? No, he didn't pop Hemo Play. He just killed him outright. He's gone. I think he might have used the Hex Tech Revolver on that. I want to see what happened there. How'd he kill him? Oh, he must have still been in range to use Q. So either way, they had no way to contest that. Jin was able to just zone them off. So was Weenie Hut Jr. So yeah, that was a thing. I mean, there's not much you can do. Yeah, you have Ezreal, but he's not going to be able to help you do any real DPS. He's still sober. He doesn't have a third item yet. He had to waste a slot for QSS because of the Skarner. So he's still sitting on 2 items compared to the Jin's 3, almost 4. Or 3 items. About to be 3 items if you don't add the boots. So they're just gonna work to open the base. I think this is smart recalling right here. Don't overstay your welcome. Don't overplay your hand. You're still halfway low and they have 5 members up. I don't like Cho'Gath being here in the jungle, but he should be tanking enough to escape anyway. It's just 2 tanks versus him, so he'll be fine. Jin gets away with red buff, so smart play by him. And now they're just gonna reset and push. They can go back to 1-3-1. Looks like they're gonna go for the Drake actually, which they're just working toward that other win condition of Elder Drake, so it's not that bad. It's more in-combat movement speed also for the Jin, so he's going to be super slippery. Won't be able to really catch on to him like they might want to. And now they're going to look for, they can go 1-3-1. They can try and continue to brute force this as 4. Jin recalled, though, so this is kind of scary, because I feel like they still need Jin in these team fights to actually outright win a team fight. Weenie Hut Jr., if he goes off, can win it. But I think they need Jin to just fully go to fully have a team fight win secured, you know. So this could be dangerous while Jin is trying to join them back up. But he does have a lot of movement speed, so he should be able to get there fast. He does. And in a 5v5 scenario right now, I think that Yule Good handedly wins this, unless the two can maybe like flying up, something like that maybe. No, he landed on a tank. So yeah. Again, when your junior goes in, able to sustain, can't get blown up. Jin can stay so far out of the fight that there's no way Toucan can get there and blow him up. There's no way Hunter can get there and try and find him, as if Hunter could even try and blow somebody up. So, and with Zonia's and with the innate sustain from Vladimir, there's no way that they're going to kill the Vladimir that early in a team fight unless he just misplays it, misclicks, and doesn't hit his Sanguine Pool or Zonia's before the ultimate comes out, the Primordial Burst comes out. So now they're just going to completely wipe the base. And I mean, this could possibly basically be kind of close to GG. You'll get this fast. At 30 minutes in, they take 3 inhibs. They're gonna keep pushing here, which could be dangerous. Again, you never really want to fight on their team's turrets, especially on their 2 Nexus turrets, because that's just double the damage, obviously, of a regular turret. So there could be something for Flame Out Love to find here, but it's gonna be hard for them to find. Yep, nope, can't find it there. Nah. Um, and that's the sucky thing about the composition from Flame Out Love is at this junction of the game when Sejuani's this far behind to where she's not tanky enough to charge in herself. You're so reliant on building kick to find the taunt engage, especially when Coco's Call of the Forge God isn't available. You're so reliant on him landing on multi-man taunt, and with the way he's been playing in this game, if he can't do that, then basically you're engaged out the window, and now Yoga's just gonna steamroll over them. So you blast a tank with his Primordial Burst. They're overstaying still. Instead of just going for turrets, they decided to look for the fight, which I don't agree with. I never agree with that. Go for turrets. Ooh, they're gonna go back in. I mean, it doesn't matter. This point, game's pretty much over. Yeah. So basically, for this game, I think Flame Out Love put themselves in a tough position in the draft, but it wasn't an impossible position to get out of. However, their bot lane made a couple misplays that put them in a sore position throughout the entire game. There's like 2 or 3 I can think of that they made where building kick missed a taunt, a flash taunt, or they just went in too early, or just shouldn't have gone in at all. The top side of the map did their best, but Latucan, I believe he died twice to ganks. Once was a return, was like a counter gank that team miscoms again from their bot lane kind of hurt them on. Coco did his best. There's a couple fights they shouldn't have taken, but this is basically what happens when you don't do enough to slow down the tempo for your team to catch up. Once again, a lot of that was predicated from mistakes made by the bottom half of the map, but even so, it's a team game. So when your team overall doesn't do what it needs to do, from playing with good vision to good communication to when to and when not to try and take fights, to slow down the tempo until your team composition can scale and then therefore possibly take fights with the enemy team, this is what happens. It can snowball out of control and be a complete stomp. So yeah. Now I'm gonna have to go get ready for work. Oh, my title is wrong. I'm gonna go get ready for work. When I get back home off work, if I'm not too tired, I will be VOD reviewing the last 3 games from Gold Plat. That was Tuesday. But until then, I'll see you guys later.